For January non-farm payrolls, January unemployment rate 3.7% versus 3.7%, 3.8% expected there on the unemployment rate. Non-farm payrolls for January 317 versus 155. The manufacturing payrolls coming through there for January 23 versus 5. The prior number also being revised to the upside to 330,000 versus 230,000. So that's back-to-back numbers coming in above 300,000 on non-farm payrolls. So big move for the overall number. It's worth noting as well, Michigan consumer sentiment coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. Also one to watch here as we look for more inflation-related data. This is going to tie back into what we heard from Fed Chair Powell going back to Wednesday this week. Big move down here for the overall market. It is Friday, February 2nd, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there goes that nice gap to the upside, or most of it anyways. 0.6 still holding on to positive territory there for the NASDAQ. The S&P about 0.3, coming off a much hotter than expected January non-farm payrolls number, 353,000 versus 175 expected there. Again, they also revised the prior month to the upside, 300,000 in December. That's up from 230,000. 3.7 on the unemployment rate is exactly where it was expected to be. Keep in mind, again, coming up at 10 o'clock, Michigan consumer sentiment. There is a 5-year and a 1-year inflation target in that number that could add to this move. But downside across the board here, again, we are still holding on to a nice gain. Thankfully, Meta came out last night and just crushed it. And the market itself was up more than a full percent, back to 0.6 here. But wow, that's a lot of jobs.
What recession, Brendo? I mean, we really need to have way more slack than this for a recession to take place, guys. Strong jobs numbers, and when you listen to some of the reports yesterday on the earnings calls, these big tech companies are not cutting nearly as much as they did in 2023. In fact, like the whole idea of the year of efficiency has kind of been put on the back burner, and it's been more focused on AI and what can we do with AI. So we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the day brings.
Yeah, I mean, this is off to a pretty interesting start here. Remember, 3+% on that GDP reading we got as well going back a week or so ago. 300,000+ guys back to back here on the non-farm payrolls prints. Market downside to start.
Heyo. So we had overnight.
Are we fuzzy, or is
we're a little
just
fuzzy
my,
here?
you know.
We'll get it fixed up. So everyone knows there was like a power outage here last night, and some weirdness happened in the building.
All the traders are in behind us. They've turned on their computer.
Yeah, clearly, because everything was down. But the market ain't down. I know we just had good news being bad, and the market's back to 0.5%, but it doesn't matter because Meta said zuck to all the shorts, and Amazon was like, hey, we're not too bad either. Don't worry about us. We're good to go. The earnings are still going to be in play. The market still looks relatively strong. Apple, yeah, we'll get to Apple as well, but they were the disappointment. Definitely a bit of a disappointment there with Apple. Lots to watch to round out this week. You know, it's that biggest earning week of the month, and on top of that, we get a bunch of economic data today. So the thing about these NFP, just while the market's reacting to it, that there's good news is bad, is it's going to get revised. Like, these revisions will come in. It seems really strong. Unemployment seems really strong. But I heard a note saying it was like 85% of states on their state numbers for unemployment are actually increasing, and it goes against what we're seeing with the national numbers. So who knows? For now, good news apparently equals bad. But the only good news you need to hear is Meta to the moon.
There we go.
There we
got
go.
it. Yeah. So everything has to get altered and fixed up. And so, yeah, anyways. Yeah, Apple's quarter was one of their best quarters of all time. They guided a little bit lower for China, and they reported bad sales in China. So what we heard the other day on Monday that started this cascade was exactly right. And that's what that is. They finally, they had 4 negative revenue quarters, and then this quarter was a beat. So that's a win. Everything is a win. Higher sales all across the board. Not one segment under. But Apple today under, down 4%, well, down 3.5% right now, and looking to go a lot lower, I think, just because people will switch it up and go into the names that just keep on printing, man. We love some Meta. We love some Snapchat today. There's going to be lots of opportunity. Look at that. Their first ever dividend. And by the way, we don't have we do have them up now. Okay, good. Next up, Unity. We have... The market recap show, again, set another record yesterday. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And just keep on going. Tonight, we'll film the podcast, and then we'll start the market recap show again on Monday. And I want to thank Danielle Shea for coming through last night as well for about 15 minutes. And we went over all the earnings plays and discussed some strategies. Some iron condors were in the building, things like that. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you to Patrick. This guy brought some Krispy Kreme donuts, which I'm pretty sure they're probably all gone now.
No,
so thank you to Patrick.
Gone
There was
yet.
6 left, I think, when I came in.
I only had 1.
Yeah, I didn't have any because my kids brought some here last night. And then I think Brennan and Sharif had 3 or 4 each, and then everybody else. So we'll see.
Ran probably had 2.
With the traders. We were at the NHL All-Star last night, so we're wearing
Yeah,
our hat
Booyah.
here today because traders stay late, and apparently parents don't sleep.
Nah, well, I don't know.
I slept so much when my kids were babies, and
What?
now I don't sleep at all.
That's what doesn't see.
I did not miss one night of sleep.
I don't even know how that's
all
possible.
3.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Well, because my wife is a freaking genius.
Oh my
That's how come. But anyway, shout out to Marissa, the best in the business. But I sleep a hell of a lot less now because we're doing so many things. You know, like we didn't even get home till 10 o'clock last night, and then the party just starts then, right? So, all right, parents don't sleep, traders don't sleep, but traders stay late and early. And right now it's 8:37. That's pretty early. We'll go over to the desk and see what these guys are up to.
Just having a look, guys, at some of the projections now going out to the remainder of the year. They're now basically pricing out, I'm just hearing Fed Fund futures, basically pricing out a May cut. Both the 10-year and the 30-year absolutely ripping right now. We just went from 3.8 on the 10-year to 3.97, so basically 10 basis points straight to the upside. 30-year back to 4.18. Again, if you're just joining a little bit late, January non-farm payrolls, absolutely monstrous number, 330,000 versus 175 expected there. So we had Frank on the other day, and he was mentioning the simple fact that if this came out hotter to the tune of 200, 250, we didn't even get to 300, let alone 330,000. Expect more downside, but I mean, this actually isn't that big of a move right now. We're still holding on to 0.5% to the upside for the NASDAQ. A lot of that had to do with the positive move coming after the close last night. I mean, the market was just absolutely ripping in after hours last night with Meta's huge report. Pretty impressive from at least Amazon and Meta.
Unbelievable yesterday, watching those bad boys report, and then came Apple, of course, and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, guys, we were back almost into the highs. If I can just show my chart here for the ES yesterday, this is how much we were able to make up. Guys, if I can show my chart, please. In the aftermarket yesterday at that 48.75, we broke right back above 4,900 into that 49.50 area, topping out where we got to on January 30th and 29th, but right back down we'll go. We'll have to see what the rest of the day brings, Brendo. Look for possible support, though, at 49.25.
Yeah, we'll see how we're starting to bounce here, guys, a little bit. Some volume coming back into some of these tech names, in fact. I mean, it's going to be all about, I think, the NASDAQ today if we're going to get any kind of a bounce. I mean, the past couple, it's worth noting, I went back yesterday and had a look. The past couple of NFP prints have been downside reaction, but then we end up, at the end of the day, back higher.
That's kind of what the market's done in general, right? Like in a bull market, like, okay, fine, if you sell off for reason X or Y, Z, you just eventually find a bottom and then you bounce for the rest of the day. So I don't know that why should we be expecting anything less, man? The other issue here is, as we'll probably talk about the futures, I mean, the ES was right on the week's high. Obviously, with everything breaking out, almost everything breaking out, the NASDAQ was obviously on a good run because of the earnings overnight. So when you're pulling back, you're you're still well shy of the afternoon support level or resistance levels that I think turn into support. So I don't think you change the plan too much. It is worth noting, Apple bounced off that 180 level already, so I think we can chalk that one up as still a significant price level for Apple. It's bounced off there once before, but it just ticked down there on the number and found temporary support at 180. That was the same bottom that's been put in this 180 a couple of times here when it's rejected 200s. I think this is going to come in play at 930 unquestionably. And there's an old saying, there's no such thing as good or bad earnings, there's just earnings. And it doesn't matter except for the reaction to it, right? So in the case of Apple, it's the reaction to it. And that 180 level, I think, is going to get challenged today. But if you're looking for names that are strong, I mean, Microsoft just bounced off its previous highs. And then don't sleep on the regional banks as well, because those are going to be quite volatile today. Worth keeping your eye on, but it's hard not to look at the earnings names to lead the charge. I think I want to look for dip buys despite that number. The notable exception to me is Apple. It's, is what it is. But then I felt the same thing about Microsoft. Like, I remember when Microsoft reported, I was like, I don't see any reason based on, and this is what happens when you worry about fundamentals, I can't look at anything you read about that quarter and tell me you can't buy dips today on that stock. And then, of course, it ended up being a lot weaker than anticipated. Now, does it feel the same way for Amazon and Meta today? Sure, it does. But you just gotta roll with those punches and play the momentum and the trend, because ultimately, if you're right 7 times out of 10, that's absolutely fine. So just because Microsoft couldn't hold gains doesn't really mean as much today. But yeah, Apple, if it can't hold 180, that could get nasty.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the market. I mean, honestly, every single report that's been out so far, besides Tesla's and Intel's, have pretty much been outstanding. I mean, AMD has got hit down 4 or 5%, and then it's all the way back, and AMD is as if they didn't even report. Meta blows it out. Google's a little lower. We'll have to see if that can hold 140. So this is the NASDAQ. This is the NQ right here. This is 17.5. So that's what we're going to have to. We just wicked down to 17.510. So obviously, if we can hold 17.5, then this moons probably to 17.7 today, and then we'll look to take out that high again of 17.8. I don't know if we'll get another 1 to 2% day in the NASDAQ. We're up already 0.7, so it could happen. Look at this move yesterday, right? Fed gave us a little bit of a womp-womp, and then all the way back up here. So there it is. I think 17.5 is worth looking. We'll find out. Worst case scenario, I mean, 17.2 would be pretty bad, and then 17.3. So we're still, you're still all the way up here. You're holding the 200 period moving average. The 50 period's down here at 17.4. I mean, how good does this top look as well to hold this garbage from down here? I don't see any negative catalysts today, so let's call that what it is. I mean, I think Apple's just getting hit because people are rotating out of Apple and into the other names that have been absolute monsters. So I don't, Apple for me is, and this is Kramer's saying, but hold, don't trade. I'm not selling on this quarter, and I'm not buying more. I will buy more, if we can get it. We talked about this yesterday, into 170. That would be a completely different story. These guys are selling more product than ever, and population continues to grow. Meta has 2.1. This is Apple. I'm here, but I'm talking about Meta, and I'll tell you why. Meta has 2.11 billion daily active users. Okay? And the experience on Apple products continues to excel. And you have the Apple Vision Pro, which is going to be another huge hit. Buy Apple on dips would be my recommendation, but potentially not today. All right, I know Sharif over there looking much like a professor today with the glasses. He and I both want Apple in the low 170s so we can start to pick up a little bit more and do that whole DCA dance, baby.
There he is, Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas, back on a Friday to wrap things up for the week. That's been, let's be honest, Mr. Noss, pretty exciting here. Coming off this NFP print as well, huge to the upside, meaning maybe some more downside for the overall market. We're going to talk a little bit about what we can do or where we can look outside of traditional equities for possible long here.
Yeah, and I like that comment because I always think it's hilarious. It's a good news, so that means that it's bad news because the Fed may do, and this is why I'm a technician. Right? So I just look at charts. So speaking of, the first chart I have here is the S&P 500. We noticed a little bit of chop this week, right? So exciting for the day trading. Absolutely. This is, what you guys want to see. For me as a swing trader, I kind of classify this more as chop. And if you guys go way back to early December or early January, late December, I kind of gave a thesis for why I thought this area of the market would be a little bit choppy until around March. We may be resolving that earlier, which is absolutely fine. But I own a lot of the big tech stuff already, which is, what we talked about earlier. So I'm always looking for you guys to try to find areas of the market that I think aren't quite extended and could keep up with the market. Just going on this general theme that I've talked about when, I've been here for the whole bear market of 2021, 2022. And the whole time I was saying that in bear markets, the leaders get dragged down by the laggards. And in bull markets, complete opposite. You have the leaders pulling up all of the laggards. So right now I'm on a hunt for that. We looked at some oil stuff on Monday. I still like the look of that. Nothing is triggered or broken out yet, but oil's holding on really well. But if we go to the next slide here, I go through, my favorite feature currently is a data visualization nerd in Trade Ideas, is the ability to turn anything into these tree maps. So URA, uranium, I'm not going to harp on that again because if you tune in with me and Sean for the After Hours show, if you've been here for any length of time, you know how much I love uranium. I'm in a whole bunch of uranium. But number two there, you can see is GDX, which is actually gold miners. So if gold miners are going to start to perk up, I want to look at the underlying asset. And again, I've been bullish gold for a long period of time, but for new viewers, I want to go through my thesis there and then give you a couple gold miners that I'm going to watch if we finally get this gold to resolve higher. Now, we're way out here on a monthly chart. So this is, don't worry, we'll get a little bit more interesting. I know monthly charts may bore a lot of people, but typical cup and handle kind of look. This is going all the way back to 2012, where we were up at these heights. We've worked our way back up to them recently, and we've just been resolving this overhead supply. So anyone that tells you that long-term support and resistance doesn't work, I think this is a great chart to show them. We are struggling right at the area where the market in gold topped in that 2012. But this is a very typical cup and handle style pattern. And a cup and handle, just to demystify it, is you just have a top of the market and a drawdown. And then when you get back to that top again, it takes time to work through that overhead supply. And that's what we're seeing. So down into a weekly chart here, I've said it a million times. I've been trained to buy smiley faces and sell frowny faces. Looking like a smiley face to me. I want to focus everyone's attention just to the far right-hand side of the chart where we have this consolidation getting tighter and tighter. This is often, again, not always, but this is often a precursor to a breakout. You want to see it, the instrument hit that level and just chop around sideways near that level. It's almost building up power, it looks like, for that breakout. And then in the daily chart here on gold, I want to focus on a couple things. So the main one being the last just 3 days of action. So we have this triangle in the daily chart and we've broken out of it. That's what we like to see, these consolidations resolving higher. But if we go back to 2 candles ago, so on Wednesday, when the entire market was down huge and all the perma bears were out on Twitter telling us it was the end of the bull market and all of this, gold didn't even break the prior day's low. So it didn't move much in this down market. And this is unusual for gold recently, where it's actually acting as some sort of defensive asset. So I like that. If the market's going to get a little bit overheated, maybe this is going to be a good place to go. And then had a bullish day yesterday, along with everything else in the world that had a great bullish day yesterday. So that's my thesis on gold. I'm presenting it to you again because the gold miners showed up on this relative strength scan. So of course, I have a bunch of gold miners for you. So the The idea is that a gold miner isn't going to rip if the commodity in which they're mining is tanking, and vice versa. So I went into trade ideas, something we can do easily. I looked up all the miners, and then I just pulled out everything that was uranium and all of that, and I found some names that look interesting. So first is KGC. This is a gold mining company out of Canada. Very simple support turns into resistance, one of my favorite setups. That's sitting around 550 or so. So the breakout of this downtrend line yesterday, I really like. So I'm going to look for this for any kind of strength today or into early next week. Then I'm going to take it, and that area close back below that 550 area. That's where I'm wrong, and it's time to move on. This one here is BVN. I am bad at my flags. It's up in the top right-hand corner. I don't remember where this company was from, but just an absolute strong breakout showing that there was some sort of fundamental catalyst on this move from 10 to almost 15, consolidated around 15 for a period of time, broke out of that yesterday. So I think you can rely on the low of that base. If it breaks back down into that kind of $15 range, that's it for me. But a nice look here for those of us that kind of like the bigger cap name. This one's a larger value company. The last one here with RGLD. And RGLD, again, buy smiley faces, sell frowny faces. Looks like we might be getting that here. Again, a bigger company. One thing that's interesting is even though the short float is only 4%, the days to cover, which is short float divided by the amount of volume it's done, is 9 days. So there is at pretty heavy leaning considering it's a gold mining company on the short side. So if this gets over that 120 area, I'm interested in that. Again, if it breaks back down into this near-term base around 110, I think it's time to go. So that's the thesis, and just looking to add some gold to an overall bullish portfolio.
From a technical standpoint, because we just rolled over on the calendar to a new month, maybe talk for a second about, not necessarily about gold, but talk for a second about, from a technical standpoint, what that means going from, as you started off there with a monthly chart, downward towards a daily chart, and because we can now do that with more data.
Well, I love that, and it's actually going to tease what I'm going to talk about on Monday, because I love new monthly candles. Even as someone who is a swing trader and I'm looking to try to buy something that's going to last for a couple days to a couple weeks to maybe a couple months if I really hit something, a broad view of monthly candlesticks, I think, is an exercise that every trader, day trader on up should do. It only takes a few minutes. You go to your monthly candlesticks and you zoom in, and then we can look at what's happened from a monthly point of view. Now, I'll save a lot of that data till Monday. We're going to have, I think, 2 or 3 days into the new candle. But there are some interesting monthly candlestick patterns that do show that in some instances, we may be getting a little bit overextended, but then in other instances, we may be looking to break out there.
Great stuff. Michael Noss, have a wonderful weekend. We'll chat again next week.
All right. Talk to you soon.
As always, popular, and thank you, Michael. It's just, you can't say that enough. Like, look for those overall trends on the higher time frame charts. And I know that's a lot for swing trading, but if you're not doing it as a day trader to sort of set you up for the environment that you're in on the stock that you're trading, then I think you're doing yourself an injustice. Maybe you don't need the monthly chart when you're day trading, weekly, sometimes even the daily. You just don't want to be missing an obvious trend, and then you sit there and you're wondering why you're fighting it. Like, how often have we said, just have a look at any EV name on a higher time frame chart? I'm going to do some picking on somebody here because I just want to visually make this point because it's way too obvious. But like we talked about this, I was just looking at KGC too, but we talked about this with the EVs. When you look at how long the trend has been to the downside on this weekly chart, then it sets you up for what is your expectation? I want to zoom in a little bit there. What is your expectation when you come into any single day? Usually it's, okay, I'm looking for spots to fade this. Now, it doesn't mean the stock's going to always go down. You can pop in the daily chart, but it's a very similar thing on the daily. And you might see like this up candle, oh my goodness, it's broken the trend, it's going to the upside, but really the overall trend remains the same. And I think that's the gist of what we're always trying to do here. I love the look on some of those breaks. I know there was certainly some popularity there with a couple of your calls in the chat. So, Michael, much appreciated. And no, I am not Obi. Although, Obi is always doing gotta thank him, of course, always doing a fantastic job filling in, and can't thank him enough for that. It's tough to miss like one of the biggest earnings weeks because of the action, like the amount of information that you get from the overall market on days like that, just in terms of finding big key levels post-Fed. Qualcomm a little bit there, but glad to be back in the saddle here again today, and good as always from Mr. Nas.
Yeah, and again, I mean, he already talked about what everyone should be doing, and that's watching the market recap show where he's been talking about uranium, gold, all of those plays over and over and over again. I think you just need to diversify your portfolio. I don't own any gold, but that's where you get Michael Noss coming in through this. I'll never really talk about it. He just did mention reasons why to get it, grab the GDX, give you some Canadian names as well for all of our Canadian friends out there, or US friends, or European friends. You can invest in our country as well. But yeah, a couple good names there. Thank you to Michael Noss. And yeah, he likes weekly candles, as does Obi. And we're getting another one closed here today. Let's see what's happening. Look at the market. The market's falling pretty nicely right now on the NASDAQ. So here we coming back in. Watch out for this 180. It looks like it will break on Apple. When it does, it brings not only the NASDAQ, but also, as you can see, the ES down. One of the biggest, second biggest name in both of these indexes. I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to throw it back over.
Just reading a note on Plug Power having quite the week. Back to the upside again. Company signing a BEDP contract for 500 megawatt electrolyzer in Europe. So, I mean, I think 3 days in a row now?
Yeah.
We've been talking about Plug at this time of the morning.
Yeah, the market's desperate for an alternative to electric vehicles or anything other than battery-powered power, Brendo. So the contract signed on the 29th increases Plug's total BDEP contracts to 4.1 gigawatts. It's like Brendo said, it is a 500 megawatt electrolyzer project. Plug up 6.6% year week to date.
Yeah, let's get some analyst moves. A ton of them this morning coming off so many earnings reports after the close yesterday. Adara has that over at the screen.
Of course, we're kicking off here with two of the major earning names from yesterday. Meta getting here an upgrade from Maness, Crespi, and Hart. Double-digit move to the upside here in pre-market. Amazon also getting an upgrade here from Tesla. Tesla upgrading Tractor Supply Co. as well. This was another earnings name from this week. And last but not least, Macy's getting an upgrade here from Sell to Neutral by Citigroup, up about 1% right now. Downgrades once again led by New York Corp here from Deutsche Bank. This follows some rough earnings on Wednesday for this company. Vertex getting a downgrade here from Bernstein. BCE with a downgrade here from TD Securities. And last but not least, another earnings name here, Peloton. Really rough day for this stock yesterday, now getting a downgrade from TSLA, guys.
Well, obviously there's no avoiding talking about Meta and Amazon today. I think we all know that. And the list of upgrades that they're going to get over the next, call it like week or two, it'll be vast. Right? You can't have them like what Meta did. If an analyst isn't adjusting their projections on Meta after that quarter, then they're not covering them. To me, it's like something has to have changed in the way you look at it, or you're just an oracle and already knew it was going to be that good. But Peloton's the one that, kind of the other side of that coin. It made a fresh bottom yesterday, obviously on that earnings miss. So you have, if you come to the chart for a quick second, the daily chart has been already to the downside. Remember, we were talking about trends. Once, twice, thrice, okay, 4 times if you count that wick down there. And then yesterday, 5 times in front of $4, this thing has bounced. Generally about the 4-quarter range. So it's going to be SSR, short sell restricted today, because clearly it was down more than 10% yesterday. So double bottom at 415, which is in front of that low that it's bounced off of multiple times. So between 4 and 415 is kind of set up for an SSR bounce type play. It's just that's the support that's been on the daily. If it gets underneath $4, anything can happen. But if I'm shorting this, it needs to be on pops. Probably 450 is the first safe place, and even then, like maybe higher. But yeah, looking for a bit of an SSR bounce play today. Short sell restricted bounce in Peloton. It's up 1%, but that's more or less where it closed, right? Like the stock moving 1% after it was squashed, 20 something is not a heck of a lot. But you look to that daily chart, it's got the support down there, so until that breaks, I think it has a chance of a little bounce play we can scalp.
All right. I was just looking at Apple right now breaking through that 180. What did we come here on? What were we supposed to talk about? Oh, upgrades and downgrades. You already mentioned Meta there. Peloton, we traded that yesterday. We actually had a good trade off 430, went up to 443, I think was the best, and then it went back down to the downside. I'll just talk about Palantir quickly. I don't know if it's going to be on the rundown, but it's on the watch list. They get another deal today, and I came in and said that famous par for the course line, and then it did send it to the upside there, but we're still just with the NASDAQ here. So I like Palantir on possible dip buys with the catalyst today. It's on the watch list, but I'm going to upgrade myself Palantir now. We've just bounced off 16 there a couple times. Still want to get long. You might get that chance today if the market does fall, but this is a good story, another contract for them. We'll talk more about it once it comes through, but I definitely like Palantir here. Let's just see if we can get a low bid. But I just put the sticky note out, and on it is littered with big cap tech names because we've been hitting those the last couple days. Like yesterday, we had Tesla long at 184, which is at their rate now. And look how good that long was yesterday, 184. I mean, this is what we put on our sticky note yesterday, Patrick. 184. We had that long. Go find it on Twitter. Boom. Right there to the upside yesterday. So it's in that spot again right now. There's going to be so many names that are going to test lows with this NASDAQ pulling back. And again, the sky is not falling. The NASDAQ is actually up right now. So, I mean,
I don't know, man.
It's like, I don't know.
You see the kitchen?
The kitchen, yeah, they had a pipe burst in there.
No, we're joking. The trading floor kitchen actually had like something burst in the, well, not the sky, but like the, whatever the hell you call the, no, I'm losing the word, but the ceiling panels came down and the kitchen is an absolute mess. The sky ain't falling, despite what's going on over there. Thankfully, this is the good thing about a bull market. In a bull market, on down days, you're going to find support levels, and then you'll get those types of bounces off levels like that 184, right? You don't get bounces off of levels that big in bear markets because you bounce a little bit and then you fall further. So that's, you got to look for the dip buys when the overall trend is up.
First of all, the sky is not falling, and I think you got to let it settle down. We talked about that. I talked about like the 3-day rule here. So now we're out of all of the major cap. Well, there's still more to come. There's still more to come. They still have NVIDIA in a couple weeks. But now we can get a good idea of what these Mag 6, because they've all reported, because Tesla's out of there. Now we can get an idea over the next couple days of where this market wants to settle down. Look, we have exciting news to bring to everybody right now. Day Trade the World is rebranding. That's pretty good. Come over to the screen right now. New year, same company, new brand right here. It's realtrading.com. So any questions that you might have had about Day Trade the World, now you can get answered right here. I don't know if this gentleman's going to pick up the phone or not. I never met this guy, but you're going to go ahead, trade smart, not hard. Here's some stats. It's the same company. We have over 3,000 traders, over 400 million shares traded worldwide per day. Hey, it's me. I'm the anti-hero. And then as you keep going along, reviews, recommendations, learn how to trade like a pro. Oh, who's this handsome gentleman? Oh, it's Neil. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Sharif, I like the shirt you're wearing today. Here we go. There's Sharif right there, same shirt. Go find out from Brendan. Go find out everything. This is your ticket to financial opportunity. USD $500. Let's go. It's a great opportunity to learn more about the company. I won't stay on Brendan's face there. Here we go. Real trading, trade smart, not hard, but work hard. Rebranding, Brendo. Great website.
Great event, online event that we had yesterday to launch that. Everything is up and running. The site looks great. I think the graphics look great. So more to come from Real Trading. So that's exciting. Let's get into everything we need to know here as we head towards the open on a Friday morning. As always, Sharif going to kick it off with a look at the market.
Guys, we closed out yesterday at 49.28. We're right back at that level. Look at this consolidation top that we danced with from the 23rd onwards. Let's see if we hold up at that 49.25. If we don't hold up at yesterday's close, look for 4,900 as your first level of support. If for whatever reason we start pumping to the high side, look at the overnight high as your level of resistance, 49.64.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here as we head towards the open. As I mentioned, if you haven't done so, grab that. Absolutely free from us to you every single day. All you need is an email address, and you can get all your homework done for you every single morning. As we have a lot to get through here this morning. Let's get right into it. Meta, top of the list, just an absolute monster. It would not stop after the close last night and literally hasn't pulled back, I mean, a little bit with this jobs number. But I was just going through all these analyst moves this morning. I mean, there's probably 15, 16 at least, mostly positive. Wells Fargo, one of those, maintaining their overweight. I mean, there's so many to talk about, but a huge monster report from Meta and a dividend.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth, Brendo, but that's all right. Guys, huge report. Look at this. Net income more than tripled year over year on the quarter to $14 billion from 4 2/3 last year. Revenue jumped up 25%. Their daily active users, a new record, 2.11 billion, above what the street was expecting. As Brendo mentioned, there is a $50 billion share buyback program. It's going to be about 50 cents per share. Keep in mind also, though, that there could be a possible headwind here for Meta. 10% of their digital ad sales came from China, vis-a-vis Temu and Shein, as they both try to prop up a little bit of American market shares there. So watch out. That could drop a bit in the coming quarters.
Thoughts, guys, for Meta today?
So the last...
No thoughts, no
No,
thoughts.
I mean, what are we going to say? Well, I'll start with
Average
this.
stock, average
If you
stock.
look to short Meta, just short, like it's... Like if it turns, you want to fade weakness on it, I think I'd be looking at Snapchat today. I'll go over that in a second because I'd rather short the sympathy play if there's going to be a pullback than try to find some place to enter into Meta. And Shari's right about it. The numbers helped a little bit by China. I think is great. The crazy thing for me was when they doubled their operating margin from like 20 to 40. Like it's laughable because it's such a ridiculous shift to be able to cut costs the way they are and then still drive sales and get a double in margin. There's pretty much no way next quarter they can do anything, but just even if they just keep that level, that would be spectacular. But there's really, it's a sick report. The last time it had a move somewhat this ridiculous to the upside was beginning of, oddly enough, it was February of last year. So just saying, and the next couple of days it actually continued higher slightly. So it went like 145 to 180 or something like that. Obviously a gigantic move as well. And then for the next couple of days, it continued higher. It wasn't necessarily super volatile though, that 2 or 3 days after. Like it settled down and it didn't really break any massive trends one way or the other. And if we expect something like that today, I think extreme would be looking at the 450 because that's just a psychological level. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, there's no levels up here. The 450 is a psychological one if it pulls back. If you're gapping more than that, then I'm not touching it. I'm probably just shorting Snapchat. But the 450 level on a dip is probably the first place I will look. If it sets other things up, like it makes a bottom at 945 and stair steps it up, you can start to work off some levels like that. But what I do think is when Snapchat and Pinterest go up on sympathy to Meta, and not necessarily of their own volition, they might provide us with a trade. And so the local high here is like 17.15. You're trading just underneath 1670 now. It was 1690 when I sat down. And I would think if Meta's not breaking out the highs, then a short off that level actually becomes reasonable. And you know, if this breaks out 17.15, there's room for it to go another 50 cents. That could be like another 3% for Snapchat. So you've got a nice linchpin level here on Snapchat, which I thought I had drawn this and then hit save. I'm just going to leave that in there. So yeah, this one might be the one if I can't find any levels setting up on Meta. I do remember last year it was a similar thing. It was just so ridiculously strong, and then there wasn't even a ton of volatility. Like you'd have thought there'd be like a gap fill back in. It didn't do that last year. So I wouldn't necessarily assume it does it again.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the exact same thoughts there. I wrote down that. So first of all, here's my Meta level 460. And then I said, not going to call a level. We also put out here, watch economic numbers. And then I put in here, be careful because I wrote down all these levels before non-farm, right? But we're into 460 immediately right now. And same thing, I'm not willing to call this support, but so far we're holding. What we want to do is, I called for help from Brian Shannon, let's try to play some VWAP for any kind of dip buys. But for right now, because that number was so good, Meta is not really giving you any, whoops, I mean, I guess we can try to zoom in a little bit here. Not really giving you any levels because that 460 just got broken. So, and when it did, look what happened. With limited liquidity right now, Meta's cracking $2 on a 460 break. So like you already saw, there wasn't much liquidity right here at 9 o'clock, right? When we kind of wicked down there and dropped about $1. But here's the push now back through 2. This is just happening right in front of us right now. So we're kind of analyzing this as it happened. So now, when we wrote that again, we thought potentially we were starting to go back up to the upside. VWAP is now upside. So this stock is actually upside down right now. I would have thought we would have been the other way, trying to find some support, not trying to find some potentially resistance up here. So right now we got to look at 463, 464. The key for me today is patient. Yesterday, unfortunately, when we shorted Microsoft, I'll just show you, just go back to another earnings play. Microsoft obviously wasn't earnings yesterday or the day before. It was Tuesday. But if we were just a little more patient, we shorted early right here and then got stopped out when it went to the high side. But then our 405 magic level that we wrote down on the sticky note played 4 times. So it's like, you know, early on, let everybody shake out, and then you could see Microsoft had a great morning, but then not very eventful in the afternoon. Let's see if we can find the same kind of a pattern here for Meta. But right now, you're slipping it up. So 440, 450, like, they're all the same to me. We just got to find where there's support. And I don't want to stand in front of anything because we just saw it break and it went down $2. What's going to happen when the market actually opens, right? So here's the imbalance locator right now. There's not going to be any NASDAQ on there because NASDAQ doesn't come till 9:25. But pretty mixed on here. Buys and sells. Ford with the sell. They were added to Goldman Sachs's or Morgan Stanley's, one of their best trade ideas of the year or something like that. And then there's Palantir. But look at the numbers. They're all small, like not even 100,000 down here for Palantir. Neo's here. Neo's at 560. Wow, that's pretty bad.
When that gets to, when Neo gets that $5 level, it'll be interesting. This is something you said there before we go back to the desk, as you were mentioning about like when Microsoft got to the level that you liked, and someone in the chat was like, well, what if Apple goes up and Meta and Amazon go down and the opposite of what everyone's expecting in the first 5 minutes? When you're trading, would you rather be right with the trend from 10 to like 2 o'clock, or would you rather be right for 5 or 10 minutes? Now, for some people, maybe that opening trade is like, I just want that or nothing, and you just want to be right for that first 5, 15 minutes. But you know, overall, if you're patient enough, finding that top or bottom or finding that first lower high or higher low for the trend for the greater part of the day can be a little bit better than just trying to be right in like 9:31, which, especially on earnings day, that can be a little bit tricky. But let's get back to this. We got a lot to cover.
Get to Amazon. I mean, the numbers are just astronomically high. I wanted to mention this as well. Get ready for Rufus. If you're out and about and want to use your mobile device to order something on Amazon, you can now do it with an AI-powered conversational shopping assistant named Rufus. Rufus is a bit of a fail as far as I'm concerned on the naming front, but yeah, I mean that sounds interesting to say the least. Depending on how helpful it's going to be. I mean, you were mentioning the other day, we were talking about Siri in the sense that trying to get an actual, meaningful answer out of Siri is tough. I haven't used Alexa to that point, but if they're going to tie in maybe Alexa with Rufus, we'll see.
That's old technology, and that was based on machine learning, Brendo. We've since moved on with that. We're generative AI now, and a lot of cuts have been made at that machine learning area. So a lot of the Alexa people were let go. We know that same thing was done in Google as well with their machine learning sector and more focused on generative AI. But specifically with Amazon, let's talk about this report, guys. Huge net income surge, $10.6 billion in net income on the quarter. Compare that to last year when they printed $278 million. There were one-off charges at the time, but that is a huge increase. Revenue jumped 14% year over year on the quarter. Amazon Web Services, their largest moneymaker and their best margin product, met expectations, but it did drop a little bit in growth. Last year at this time, it grew 20% year over year, and now it's growing at 13%. So something to be careful with there. With respect to their guidance, Brendo, they're guiding about $138 billion to $143 billion on the quarter. That's in line with expectations of 142.
S&P about to go negative potentially here. We're rolling over once again. Amazon, though, holding up quite nicely, guys, versus the market here.
Don't worry, Amazon can't go red. Obi will buy it up or something, no matter what. Obviously, we're kidding about that. The good thing about
No, we're not.
Amazon,
We're not kidding about
no,
that.
he'll be on the bid.
Yeah.
Dollar says he's on the bid somewhere today. No questions
long
asked.
right now.
He could be because you have a double bottom in the pre-market. But AWS was 20% growth last year, and then last quarter 12. Well, 13's higher than 12. And so what I like about that is they're finding a bottom after slowing growth in AWS. They're finding a bottom, and to be up 6%. Like the reality of the reality of that 6% is, if not for Meta, how impressed would we be by this, right? Like all we'd be talking about is Amazon, if not for what Meta did. Like Apple's down. We saw Alphabet, maybe not the most ridiculous positive reaction from the markets to their earnings. So I think in this particular case, like this. It would be received a heck of a lot better. It just seems like it should be more impressive than it is. All that said, you're once again dealing with a lack of levels here as you were before. So yes, you got 168 out there. Ignore this wick. That never happened. If it printed 165, I'd probably have tried to get long down at that price. I just want to look for a dip buy, but there's no, it's not, if it gets all the way to previous resistance, which is what I usually like, well then something drastic, too drastic has happened and you have to adjust. But if we somehow see 162, fine. I would go long there. I get it. But I'm looking 65 pre-market lows. And obviously, it's got a double top at 172. I'm not looking for breakouts today. Not really a huge fan of the gap up breakout on earnings when the market just had that negative reaction to the number. That's enough to make me not want to take any breakouts. So if we see 68, 65, fair enough. That's probably the dip zone. That's just a fake wick, like I said. Don't worry about it. Or if it just starts holding the pre-market low. Not really thinking fades on Amazon. I feel like if the two names that gapped up go down, there'll be other shorts in the market. I like Intel short. I like a firm short on Pops. I've already mentioned Snapchat if it can't break resistance. So I'd rather not try to find the short hoping that a gap fills in on a company that had good earnings.
All right, man, my computer is like the slowest thing of all time right now. All right, so look, Neil goes first, but we always have the same thing to say, it seems like, on most of these names.
We said we were going to switch that up, and that's my bad.
No, it doesn't. I mean, today it's not like a big, huge deal. No, it never is. It's just, I don't have that much to add, which is completely fine. It's just like, I want to buy the dips. I wrote down here on the sticky note that 166 was going to be something, and that's just because of where we had this consolidation. The good thing about Amazon is it's actually not going down that bad right now. I like the name. AWS was huge. The cloud is obviously going to continue. They're going to be adding that, what is it, $3.99 a month or something like that to Prime to watch it. Prime has a couple decent shows. I've said they were bad, or not bad, that they didn't have much options. And then Ramin was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then there was Reacher, I think. Was it Tombstone?
The Boys.
The Boys. I don't know if it's Tombstone or not, but we talked about Tombstone before.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, sorry. Yeah, so anyways, my bad. And you can watch live TV. We talked about that on something called podcast, which we filmed tonight. Make sure you watch that tomorrow morning. But anyways, long story short, to me, it's the same thing. Shout out to Trades Like Kim. She said, Sean always talks about being patient, but then he's in something in the first couple minutes. So yeah, but I feel like if it hits certain levels immediately, it's worth trying those levels. So if you come in right now, maybe 168 could be something there. But realistically, with a continuation down push here, the market's under VWAP. We're now under the 50-period moving average, which we've been ever since that non-farm payroll number. So yeah, honestly, I feel short today, and the only names that we have listed on short here, well, not listed on the sticky note, Affirm. And then yesterday's biggest trade for me, one early was Intel, so we'll look to short that. And then we have, of course, Apple written down as a short, which we're going to come into next. And surprisingly enough, Apple is actually holding. So as all the other names seem to go to the downside right here, Apple is almost saying the opposite. So this could be a very interesting short if we get some buyers coming through. I'm looking at 184, but we're going to get the story right now. So let's go over to the desk and find out more about AAPL.
Yeah, we just saw a move on Ford here. They came out with some delivery numbers. Remember, Ford had that big move late in the day yesterday on that. It seemed like, anyways, Morgan Stanley added it to their top picks list in the middle of the day, and it ripped up almost 25 cents or so. But yeah, Ford bouncing up to 12 bucks here on a volume spike, guys. Delivery numbers just coming out for F, just a heads up on that. Yeah, let's talk about Apple. Downside a little bit here. It was China that was a problem. It's becoming a theme here from some of these earnings reports over the past week or so with demand coming out of China pointing to the downside.
Yeah, he was grilled on that, and by he, I'm talking about Tim Cook yesterday on the call. He tried to attribute the majority of the weakness in China to foreign exchange or currency exchange headwinds. He's saying that minus 13% would be more like mid-single digits. Whether you believe it or not, that's what basically he said on the call yesterday. Let's talk about how they did, though. Apple reported about almost $34 billion in revenue. That's up 13%. Sorry, earnings. That's almost 13% increase year over year on the quarter. Revenue only grew 2%, but that negated the 3 consecutive quarters of negative revenue growth that we were experiencing prior to that, Brendo. And services revenue, one of their most watched sectors because of its margin potential, missed expectations, so something to keep an eye there. They also blamed a lot of the weakness on the shortened year, so they had one more week last year than they did based upon their fiscal calendar, so keep your eye on that. Other than that, you know, they did quite well, but Mac continues to hurt, Brendo, and iPad sales continue to hurt.
Yeah, there wasn't really many comments or mentions of the Vision Pro across the board either, which I thought was a little bit surprising. I mean, they probably don't have much data yet, but I figured they would talk about it. 3.5% here, guys, downside for Apple.
They're not knowing anything. All right. We were just talking about, he was talking about homeschooling, and thank God he doesn't do it. And I says, yeah, exactly. I don't have patience for that. I
enjoy doing it yesterday.
Oh, it's not that. It's like, I don't have patience for it as like a career. But teachers shout out. That's why I said, like, that's why it's never.
I'd rather be here.
Yeah, it's always like much gratitude to teachers out there because, like, honestly, my kids drive me nuts. But the thing is, I feel like I would actually maybe be nicer to other kids actually than my own, you know, like because you have different expectations. Yeah, and different. I don't know, but I'm not.
I'm nicer
anyway,
sometimes.
Shout out.
I'm sometimes like that with the neighbors' kids because.
Yeah, I just feel like you're just. I don't know. Like I know that when I'm coaching, it's like I'm not harder on Gia or Barron. It's just like, you know, I'm more forgiving to the other kids. Like anyways, I don't know.
It's kind of the same thing.
I think that's for everybody. All right. Look, I just wrote down here Apple short 184 because again, this looks like a great level. There's not much else to talk about. We dipped into that there yesterday. That was the bottom. You go back here, once we cleared 184, it was, you know, blue skies. So any kind of a bump up now, but that means that Apple's going to have to get not green, but it's going to have to get going. And I don't know if that's going to happen. So again, that non-farm payrolls number kind of screwed everything up. When we talked about 184, you know, we were more at 182 here, a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And then all of a sudden, you know, the trend now has been your friend to the downside. And we keep getting, you know, there's the high, there's a new lower high, there's a lower high again. So to start the day, and I'm going to keep talking about trades with Kim because I like the name, and she mentioned me not being patient, and I'm like, exactly. You should see the conversations I have with my wife. Like, I'm like, oh, man, I did it again. I was in Microsoft in the first 5 minutes, and I got crushed. All right, so right here, 182, I feel like that would be an okay spot to start it, but again, let's wait and make sure that is the short. I do not want to go long Apple today. The market's bleeding down. We're under VWAP, and Apple is such a big percentage of the market. So I'm going to wait, see what happens here with Apple today. But, we just mentioned looking for some shorts. Apple is like the only major one on my radar. Do we have Google coming up? No, we don't.
I
So,
was saying that.
yeah, Google would be the other one. There's only 5 minutes to go. We got to run through this. So, look at Google. This is the one thing that's really throwing up all over itself right now. So, again, bad. I thought the quarter was good, but you know, they're saying their advertising number was weaker, which Meta just said weaker advertising number. What the hell does that mean? And then obviously people rotating out of this name, I believe, into other names. The more successful big cap tech names, they're still getting bumps, right? So let's wait to see. Also AMD on my mind today as well.
Yeah, I think it's like if you have way too much Apple and Google relative to maybe just obviously Amazon and Meta, there's probably some of that going on. If you're even, you probably don't care. You're just like, whatever. I don't really, I mean, 182.50 as opposed to 182, which is like a distinction without a difference. I want to be shorting pops as well when it comes to Apple. And I have to second that. You just look at the reaction on earnings to Alphabet and sort of let that dictate things here. 140 was the bottom that day at the low. This is where you're at. If it gets back up to 142, I mean, come on. 3 days in a row, you're going to show me resistance at that price, including on the Fed day? Look, it's just, I don't see how it's not a short if it gets to 142. And if it can't hold 140, I don't see how that's not a short. So that's it for those couple of big cap tech names.
All right, not much to mention here as far as Tesla is concerned. There's another quote-unquote recall that's going to be a software update, but you can have a look at Tesla back at that level again that started the week. NVIDIA, a couple of additional positive notes here pointing to AI demand going forward. This one already trying to bounce as well.
Do you want to know what this recall is, Brendo? Incorrect sizing of the warning lights on the dash. Come on, man. But yeah, seriously though, NVIDIA now beginning to take pre-orders for its new GPU specifically made for China. It's made 3 variants. The most popular one is that H20. We saw it surge yesterday on that news. Let's see what it does today.
Yeah, NVIDIA, as I mentioned, bouncing off that aftermarket level yesterday, guys. Already 1.3 here for NVIDIA.
Yeah, well, 1.3, another stock that's 1.3, and not to always be crapping on them, but the Intel's down 1.3%.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, you know the earnings weren't good for them. Now, on top of that, they're delaying the Ohio plant, which I don't want to put, I'm not usually a tinfoil hat kind of guy.
What was that story?
They're delaying their Ohio plant, citing some lack in chip demand, so another year that's being delayed to 2027.
What?
However, there's a decent chance that this has more to do with them not getting, and this has actually already been said.
They're bumping now, which is strange.
Well, maybe they're looking to get more the funding faster from the CHIPS Act, and if that money's not coming fast enough, then they're not going to make the capital expenditure, and they're
so it's
pushing
like
back.
a power
So it's
play.
like, are they making a power play so they can get the money from the government, and then all of a sudden the delay's not going to be there anymore? So that's is a possibility. Either way. 43.5 double top yesterday, 43.5 or 43.40 where I'm sitting right now, looking to fade pops. As always with Intel, if it never gets to that high and just does the pop and fade at the pre-market high, which has been a decent setup, it was good there. It was actually good early on Wednesday before breaking it out, and I'm with that as well for Intel. AMD is a bit of a different story. Like AMD, I don't really look. I looked at NVIDIA, I didn't have any setups. AMD does have one off 170 now. That's a wipeout bottom, higher low, and then resistance 171, resistance 171, obviously breaking with the rest of the market and aftermarket, and then you're gapped up here. So if it holds this 170, yesterday's close price, I'd be looking for a dip buy off that area in AMD. If it can't hold 170, maybe I give it one more shot there at the 66. But I like that sort of 2-day bottom that it found after its reversal. If I'm fading a chip name, it's still going to be Intel.
So we are very, very much close to open here, and I didn't even realize that. So we're just a minute and a half. So I just put an offer for Intel, and this is what I'm saying. Like, what? I didn't even, and I don't mean to talk about the same name, but this is, I like this short. Like right into here. Let's see if it can hold 43.20. So it looks like we might get that bump early. Let's just see. Again, we're trying to be more patient. That's hilarious. Okay, so AMD, all right, this was a level that I said, let's try the 170 long. The chip names seem to be working. There it is. Again, nice. nice dip buy there. Let's see if we can hold 170, which was yesterday's close. I mean, that's a key enough level for me. When they turn the machines on AMD, man, do they ever. There it goes to the upside. I mean, it bumped huge after hours, and let's just wait to see now if we can hold that 170 level. Somebody likes it enough to shoot this thing up $6. So we'll see if they come in and buy these dips, as I will be as well on advanced micro devices. All right, man, we are now, 30 seconds away now from what should be, could be, and might be a very interesting day. We had NFP, which was monstrous. We have the podcast. We have Meta earnings. We've got Google plummeting down through 140. And it's Apple Day. And it's the pink suit day as well. We're ready to rock and roll with only 10 seconds to go. There she is with only 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, let's open this market. All right. Thank you.
And now we're patient.
And now... Trades with Kim, we wait. All right, let's see what happens. And obviously, we will not be waiting for anything. So let's just wait to see what happens.
Well, Apple's through 180 already.
Apple's through 180. Okay, well, that happened.
Who's that person who said to wait again? What was his name?
Sharif. So, all right, so we're making some downside pushes. Yeah, and this is actually why you wait, because look what just happened to Apple. It's right at to 180 again. I feel like we want to play pullbacks to VWAP. So we've talked about that a couple times with my good friend Brian Shannon. That would be 181 right there is where, see, there we go. Would be 181. So we'll wait to see if that pulls back at all. Let's just go check out the Beast of the East. It's Meta right now. Beast of the East. Let's just see.
Beast from the East.
Yeah, Beast from the East. Yeah, let's see. Let's get some Bam Bam Bigelow references going on here. 456 coming through right now for Meta. That's the bottom, and we did retrace the VWAP. So again, you know, my hands are up in the air right now as we wait for something to happen. I'm just going to scan through a few things.
Oh, Rivian's at 15.
You're not in any. Rivian's at 15
again.
Oh,
Rivian
shit.
15 dip again.
Rivian.
Every day it goes to 15. Okay, so here's the thing.
Tesla's at that
should have shown this chart. If this loses, it loses. But let me quickly remind you, the last couple of times that Rivian was at 15, it has been the bounce off 15, the bounce off 15, the bounce off 15.
What level? Who?
Well, you know, 15. So it broke yesterday. I wasn't here. Obviously, you guys know that. 97 was the low. So I'll give this to 95. But Rivian 15.
Wrong one, because look what just happened. We already got it, baby. Tesla. We're long Tesla right now, 184.70. We talked about 184. Be patient. And there we go, Kim's trades. Unfortunately, patient. Not in the game right now for me, as we are already in to Tesla. But again, you mentioned Rivian, and I was just like, okay, if Rivian's getting to the downside, there it is. Let's go right away. Early, nice little trade there for Tesla. Let's take a piece off right now as we ring that register. Did we say $1? What about $1.50 right now? What about $1.60 right now? Sold to anybody who wants it. But I'm going to hold on to this one. Let's see what happens here with Tesla. Nice move to the upside. And there it is, man. Oh, okay, good. So now we can relax a little bit, and we will look for a better opportunity. So there it is right there. Thanks for the call out on Rivian, Neil, or in the chat.
Well, the chat said
yeah, the chat is what it's about. And I just haven't looked at it yet because that's how I get FOMO.
Well, the crazy thing is I actually had this down on my iPad this morning, and then we didn't really get to talk about the EV names, really, in the pre-market. But the second you see that bounce, I know the 15 level. We were there last time it bounced off this level. So I just got to the 20s, quick little scalp trade. I got 5s and 6s. So first fill was at 5s, and then didn't get it all, so added at 6. Just kind of hit the offer. Got 12s, 15s, 18s out so far. Snapchat. All right, the Snapchat fade probably was good, as you can see there, but doesn't really matter, I don't have it. So, how are we getting into the Snapchat fade? Probably, I guess we needed to pop here if I'm going to get any chance to short this name. And a similar thing happened when we went over to Rivian in Intel. Intel did the break of 43 and then back underneath, so there could have been a scalp trade there. But look at that, still strong, actually, to the upside is Intel. So I'll wait for that 43.5. Let's be very, very patient as that's looking pretty strong. Meta's starting to roll over. Yep. So remember we were saying, what if Apple goes up and Meta and Amazon go down? So far, that's what looks like it's happening. But I don't like Apple short till 182.50 or underneath 180. So just got to wait.
105. Yeah, Microsoft had a great dip buy opportunity. We're at a 40% of Tesla, so let's wait to see. It is making that the move the other way right now. Okay, just quickly, let's go a little bit of a longer time frame here for Microsoft. There's that 403. So that held, and here we go. We talked about possibly buying 406. Now it's well up, man. 407 is trying to go back higher here right now for Softy. So we said buy the best companies. It looks like Softy is going to qualify for that, as that's starting to go right back up to the best sides, high side right now. We missed that 406, but it does, hold. So that's going to be something to look at here, as now the market is trying to get into rip mode. Of course, AMD is flying, man. That name was. We like that AMD trade, but all right, we're going to start this at 406 if it comes back in. That's that dip into VWAP trade. So if Microsoft can come back in, we'll do that, and then we'll see about protecting our neck down here around 403 like we did yesterday on Microsoft. But right now, Tesla just came right back in, by the way. So as this market goes up, Tesla's coming in. So we'll take one more fill right near this time near 184, and then if that falls out, then we fall out with this one. So we'll have to watch out for that coming back into 184 right now, as Microsoft hits all-time highs right now, 415.32. Not now, sorry. Shouldn't have said now.
Amazon bouncing, Meta bouncing.
Yeah, all the strong names is sort of what I was trying to say there. Continue to be strong here today. There goes another bounce, which was a good one here, hopefully, for Tesla. Oh, yeah. Now we're starting to go on Tesla. Okay, Bulls, let's go, baby. Who's in there buying with me on Tesla? You've got the Rivian long, which is, weren't you
It's
short?
basically the same
Reversed,
thing.
or?
No. I was
Oh, yeah,
holding
you bought
15.
the dip. Right,
Only
okay.
bought the dip.
I wasn't sure if you were already short through that level, but that's a great one. And then, yeah, maybe Apple again?
I mean, I'm not looking short unless the plan was Snapchat and not Meta. If it popped and Snapchat never went to the upside, and then maybe we could have got Intel but never hit our level. Apple never got to 182.5, so we just have to be a little bit more patient for any shorts coming in. But Rivian can't seem to break 15.2, so I'm going to try to respect that. Get another leg out here. Rivian not really going too much further. But let's go to the desk. We've got Adara.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one here. Intelligent Biosolutions, INBS. This went up 90% despite seeing lower Q2 revenue than expected here. Now revising this down to 0.76 million versus the estimate of 1 million. But this one also worth noting, float of around 1.45 million shares. And also this one did have a 1 to 12 reverse split last Thursday. So interesting look here, up 90% on lowered revenue guidance here for INBS.
Just get long Meta at some point here, because it's just ridiculous. Like, they had a monster quarter. We had Daniel Shea on the show yesterday talking all about just get long Meta at some point today. So we missed that opportunity, like 455. Come on, man. We said we would have to wait for a level to develop, and honestly, that was too early. Like, one wick down. That didn't really give me the feels of like, okay, now it's go time on Meta, but it is go time on Meta right now as you're trying to get higher and higher and higher. I honestly think a 463 break may just be what you need to take. Well, there it goes. So bye-bye Meta, straight upside right now. Congrats, and there it goes, man. Meta through 463. Spread is dangerous on this. There's no doubt about that. So watch your shares. Like, we just touched 450, 463. Again, and then ripped up another 50 cents. So maybe we'll put a small bid down here on Meta, but that name keeps on working, that's for sure.
I'm still leaning toward the fade on Snapchat, as long as if Meta fails a high, which it's trying to get through its pre-market top, I'm seeing a bit of a turn there. And what on sympathy, you're getting a lower high on Snapchat. So if Meta turns at the high, this would be making a trend move to the downside. So it opened 1675 with an 80 top. I think I want to be short to that number. And then if Meta's blowing it out, I have multiple ways I can get out of that trade. So I'm just going to get an offer in the 60s, right in the middle here on Snapchat. If we get it, we get it. We try to be patient here. The Rivian bounce has, I don't know what Tesla's doing because I don't have that one up.
Down.
But I'm going to make an assumption. Yeah, it's probably doing similar to Rivian, where it's bouncing off the same lower. Actually, a little bit higher. It's bouncing off 06s where I got in, but it can't get past now 15. So first it got to 20s. Now it's getting to 15. I didn't even get a reload last time. Apple is now at that key level, but it's not slowing down. It's one thing to say, ooh, I like that key, I like that level because it's something in the aftermarket. But if it doesn't actually give you an entry for a setup entry, like where is the curl? It's not slowing down. I'm not going to short this unless I see an entry point, and that's got to be some kind of lower high, some kind of brick wall. Don't want to get
Apple's
absolutely run over. That's it. At the end of the day, I'd rather be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. So just because it got to my level doesn't mean I'm going to hammer that short. We'll be patient looking for dip buys in things like AMD and Amazon. They seem to have gotten away a little bit. And you're not going to want to look at Intel.
Yeah, I saw it went up and then back in now. That's okay. All right, so, yeah, trying to get longer on Meta, man. I mean, a long period. I put a bid out at 462. That's not hitting. So now we're just going to have to wait to see if it does somehow dip back in here for Meta. It doesn't look like it wants to do that. And then you might have heard us mention a little bit there about, or maybe you heard Sharif from myself, but Apple just is still making moves, man. That's Amazon. Hold on a second. I wanted Apple. But Amazon, same way. Apple's right here at the 200 period moving average. So I'm thinking like this could be something to short now for Apple. But if you play off that top wick, I can't blame you. That's 183. So we did touch 183 if you were looking for the short on Apple. And then now it's pulling back in. But the market is continuously ripping. AMD just made back pretty much its whole earnings day. So now you're back up. I mean, we were hovering around 180 before earnings. Now you're at 170. What was the high today? Right here, 176.30. So we wrote down long on AMD, but didn't get long because try to be more patient. You know, normally we might have punched through this VWAP, but it doesn't matter. We're going to settle down. It's 940 right now. Market still rips. Remember when we did that pre-market futures talk and I said this 17.5? I mean, that's, you know, we broke down to 70 there, 17.470, and now we're back upside at 17.56. So nice little 100-point move off that bottom there on the NASDAQ. So let's wait. Tesla's still trying to go back up. I don't know why we didn't get more shares down there. I'm bidding close to 184. That's why. 184.10. The lowest we went to was 184.21. So as if. But all right, we'll take a little bit more now and then wait to see if it comes. Oh, here it comes in as we speak. So all right, market's starting to turn around here. Maybe it's time to start to look for those shorts unless VWAP holds. Let's wait to see. A couple more minutes.
Yeah, you just got to be patient for it. Now, obviously, if I had blindly gone into Apple, it would have. I guess it turned right now, but Snapchat just came in for me. I was just looking for an entry into Intel, but that 43, that was it. You had to be right there, Johnny on the spot. So right at that pre-market low is where I'm jumping into the curl on Snapchat. If it cannot hold this opening high, we'll have to get out of it. Meta is trying to blow through the top. So Meta continues and goes like 470, and this hasn't broken the high. I can always just punch out of that. But AMD, I almost typed in AMC. AMD has been. We like this one for a dip buy, and you got nowhere near 170. You have pre-market lows holding. There was one option at the open to maybe just grab it off the open range. Now I usually think about like VWAP, pre-market highs to go dip. So it needs to get down into 175. I just do not want to chase it, and watch out for Rivian in here. Snap's starting to go down, but Rivian also retesting
Meta is at
that
167,
15.
by the way. Meta's at 168, now up 19%. When we were like, let's get long. So, but that's a great long back there. So good job on the long. And traders know what I'm talking about.
That'll work.
That was a 169er. Hello, 169er, and I'm not longer on this one. As there it goes, man. It's continuing to go upside. This is just a monster today, guys.
Just say longer.
Yeah, like it's just long and longer. Like it's just long. Like it's long now, and it's longer here, and it's longer again.
We need a graphic for that.
Which makes absolutely
longer
no sense,
is a technical trading term for a stock that gaps up more than 10%. And then
keeps going.
And then keeps on going.
Right,
so it has to already be double digits.
Not only is it long, but it's longer.
Yeah,
so that's there needs to be a term for that. Well, like again, part of our book at some point. All right, Apple right now. I'm going to try to short this 183 just because the market is literally blasting right there. Okay, we are now a couple pennies away. We're going to wait for 183.50. This just came in for Tesla. Tesla's the weakest of the bunch here, I think. Look at the market ripping.
Also the EVs because Rivian's also at the lows, so it's all.
Yeah, it's not to pick on Tesla, but I mean when you're in this category. There goes Tesla. This is one of the only ones that actually came into a level that we thought we liked. And it's not even on the sticky note now the more that I look at this. All right, Amazon. We already have our plan. So we're going to take a 50-cent, well, it'll be a dollar hit, but if this can get back up through, then we'll take it one more time, and we'll wait to see. Amazon goes down to, we wrote down sticky note level of 166. It went to 167, and now is trying to barcode. But if this has similar fate to that of Meta, then maybe this one is longer again. Watch out for this break right here. 171.50 on Amazon. I feel like that's worth taking against a backdrop of where we are, 171 maybe. That's kind of what we're talking about. But VWAP's all the way down here at 170. So I would like a push back down to get that VWAP, but we may have no choice and have to take that 171.50. So let's take a break higher if we get that on Amazon. We did get an out there just to take away some pressure at 30s, which is basically our price there for Tesla, but it's cracking lower as we speak as the NASDAQ continues higher. So that's a little confusing to me for right now.
Yeah, to answer your question, Bears versus Bulls, yes, Nikola did roll downhill without me because Neil forgot to just be short Nikola when he sat down because that's an easier thing to do. However, 471 now on Meta. 471. Well, Snapchat, I'll be just happy the fact that this even came down 15 cents when Meta's still going higher on sympathy. So I like the short, given that it's not ripping faces off when Meta's ripping faces off. So I'm going to hold it for these bottoms, but I have to respect the strength that Meta has. If Meta gets to like 480, Snapchat's probably going to break out the top at some point. So they're going to have to get this out inside of the range on Snapchat, ring the register, take the profits while they're there. But let's go back to the desk with Adara.
Yeah, C Limited just lagging a little bit now, but still up about 2.5%. Really good look for this one. SE is the ticker. Late yesterday, getting an upgrade from Citigroup to buy with a $50 price target. So that could be what's moving this. I'm also seeing some speculation that this could be moving in tandem with Amazon because they're kind of in that same tech-related space here. But SE, really nice look here, guys.
It's wild because like last time Meta was up, and I said this, and so if anyone didn't take the initial break long, I said last time, and it was true, that we didn't have this kind of action when it gapped up on Meta. Like, it stayed inside a lot. It gave you good opportunities to find range dip buys. This one is different. This one has just ripped the faces off right now. It's break and then break higher, and it just got to 474. So this is absolutely wild. I did reload Rivian. It wasn't getting to 15. So it actually held that 15.03 was the bottom. I got 05s again, and now it seems to want to charge through that 15.20 level. So we'll continue to hold this. If it breaks this top here, I'd be looking 15.5. Yesterday it was like 15 to 15.60. So if I get to 15.50 with this, I'll be perfectly happy to take the 3 points. It would be trying to go from red to green because it closed at 15.53. So next out is going to be in front of 35, and from there, look to see if we can't conclude the trade out in front of 15.50 on Rivian. But let's be real, no matter how far that goes up, Meta, this was the one, no question, if you just have that break. 65, 70, doesn't even matter. Not a red candle in sight.
All right, so we took a shot here with the other one right now, Amazon, but it dipped in, and so we're going to try to get a little bit more out here. But we've got a banger on because we have a decent-sized position for me here on Tesla. And guess what? This time we play our actual level, and we play 184. And we talked about that we were going to give it 50 cents. So when you're giving a stock 50 cents, and Sharif, it goes in the money $1.20, that's when you take it, and it's a Dollar Club winner right there on patience. Hallelujah. Where's that? I need that like when you finally do something good. What is that thing there called? Ram. I feel like Ramin is like.
It's like the halo thing.
She's frustrated today at something.
Aura.
I think.
It's the aura.
There it is. Yeah, the aura.
So she wants another Krispy Kreme donut.
Is there not more Krispy Kreme donuts?
The box is still there, Ram.
Damn, Ramin, I need go get Ramin a Krispy Kreme donut immediately.
Whatever. Someone get.
What the hell's wrong with everybody?
She's fine.
All right. Honestly, like, okay. No, we're just playing around. Anybody who take that seriously, like,
I'd probably.
Shit, I just had the last.
I'd probably
eat
another one.
Right now. All right. We are now. Boom. There it is, man. Daily goal met, and it's 9:48. And we only have 2 trades. It's Amazon long, that's 50 cents in the money. It's $1 and it's $2 right now. He's gonna know why, but it's a Max Lambo trade right there on Tesla, as we are now up $2 on Tesla, 70 cents on Amazon, and we cruising. The only problem is, like my problem continues to remain mine, and that is getting out way too many shares, way too early, but there goes Tesla. Let's just hold on to that one and hope that Amazon could do something. We actually did good on Amazon because we got out. That's what I mean. See, like sometimes scalping, I turn around, I'm like, why am I doing it? Like I'm getting some more out here, 25s on Amazon if it comes back up. And then when it goes up to 170, 150, I go, why don't I have any shares left? But okay, there goes Tesla right now. We just hit a $2 club, but now it's looking at 3. So let's see what happens here as we continue higher.
Yeah, we got 15 5s and 6s both times. It held 15 even, so you're going to risk 7 cents on that trade because your slippage is always going to be minimum. But we just tagged the opening range tops. Remember we said with Rivian, let it break the 20s. When it breaks the 20s, next out in front of the open high, that was 35. It just tagged. I got 33s right in front of it. Stick to the plan, ring the register, don't look the gift horse in the mouth. And now we're absolutely flying. Oh goodness, I gotta grab myself a coffee.
It's all about Intel. Yeah, Rob was like, I'm on the coffee. And
here's the thing, everybody.
The professor was like, I'll get you a coffee, and I'm just like,
what did we like short, guys? What did we like short today? We liked Intel short today. That's at the low of the day with the market flying.
Intel's.
I mean, that's obviously getting into the short is going to be a little bit more questionable. But the other thing, which is getting close to the 40 level, is
Amazon gonna break what?
Affirm really, really close to breaking into that 40 range where I was looking for the fade. So,
no.
If Intel pops, maybe we get a shot at it, but that stock can't even go up. Let's go to the desk again.
Snow falling a little bit here, but still up about 5% for Snowflake here, getting a price target increase from Raymond James from 190 to 223. Here, this one actually did just make new 52-week highs, so good look here for SNOW. Nice recovery after falling at the open.
Oh, I have, it's not embarrassing or anything like that because we've gotten out of it, but I already had another stop in for Amazon from the morning because I was thinking that we could have got that 166, so I had a 165.50 stop. So my stop for Amazon, now it's fine. It's right, I mean, I was gonna stop in and around here, but I had to take some out manually. We should have been out of this name before. So we should have been out earlier. So if anybody's tracking me, I'm still in it, but it's broken. So I'm gonna get out now. I was gonna say, let me just get out here in the 80s that we've retraced back up because that was the whole plan. There we go. We're out. All right, so if the idea is that if we broke through VWAP, we were gonna get out. So unfortunately, my stop didn't trigger, so we did take a bigger L there than we wanted to, but that's why, we always talk about honest trading, and I missed that because you can't, and this is the reason because our platform is triggered that you have to declare everything. So you can't just double punch short because then one will go as a short and one will go as a sale. You have to sell your shares first and then execute the short sell. So if you have 2 stops in there and one is lower, it doesn't hit your more aggressive stop. It will wait for the lower one. So anyways, I knew that, but I just want to talk about Amazon. It's out now. Tesla did go all the way to the upside, and that's what I mean. We let it go, and it didn't hit. We're going to get out some if it does that again, but look at this market fading. The one trade that I think Neil mentioned earlier, don't look at it, and I did, and it sucks that we did, was Intel because, I mean, this name continues to get pumped to the downside, and maybe we have to look at AMD now as a possible top, but 178, wow. These names continue to work, man. I don't know what everyone's opinion is on what's happening with the chip names, but they just continue to blast like every day, it seems like. So I know that that's not completely accurate, but there was their earnings day on AMD, 1 day down, and then what do they call it, the 3 white nights or something like that? Boom, boom, boom. It's like back-to-back jacks right here happening for AMD, so shout out to the professor. As you see, I'm listening. Just like you're going to catch the podcast, we do have a listening party. We're very, very excited for that coming through. No, I'm just busting him on that one. So, all right, here we go. AMD back up to the upside now, and let's not be foolish next time with Tesla. I'm going to put an order at 186. If we get it, we get it. We did get a little greedy on that one, but sometimes green can be good, and sometimes it gets a little carried away.
Well, when it gets to 190, then you're happy you had it. Like you have
kind of like Otani, like come on, man, 700 mil, sign with us. Come on, man.
Don't
worry, pay a little bit more tax.
Don't worry, we got just 39-year-old Justin Turner, who I actually think is going to be great for the Jays.
You said that was a good 1 year.
No, he's good, but he's not Otani. You got to shoot the moon.
Wait, what?
Sometimes you've got to shoot the moon.
What did we get him for? 20 mil? What was it?
It's with incentives. It could be up to like 18 million.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
I feel like that's a good sign.
There's like an option for second year and all that
I
stuff.
saw the Orioles sign something.
I'm angry. No, Orioles made a big trade.
Oh,
I'm
trade.
angry with myself for something because Neil put for Peloton 450 early fade if it pops at the open on Peloton. Okay, so Peloton went to $4.50 exactly and turned around. If it gets there again, this might be a squeeze. And I know the earnings were not good. Obviously, everybody knows that. I wasn't here yesterday, but come on. I checked the market a couple times and noticed that this happened. So 450 comes there again. It's probably more of a breakout than anything else. Snapchat, after Meta did, I'm just going to quickly show you why I'm actually even bothering to short this again. Meta dipped off of 476. Well, this is probably not going to last very long with Meta moving back up. Went into Snapchat off the same high. If we break the highs here, then I am very likely stopping out for 10, 15 cents here on Snapchat. This is likely to get dragged up at some point. But when Meta turned, I saw that wick and saw an opportunity to reload Snapchat. The fact that it's making lower highs here, it just means I want to be short this name. If the market rolls over, Meta slows down, I'd rather short the sympathy name. I don't know if we're going to get the perfect entry. Well, actually, I do know we're not going to get the perfect entry to join Intel. Right, but if the market continues down, this is the first name, 40 level. It's still in an upward trend. I'm trying to be patient with this, but at some point I'm going to run out of patience and maybe look for a breakdown trade. Because the market just wicked 17.6 and is trying to head back down. Apple, it's still in an upward trend. The first sign of slowing down wasn't where I was expecting it at the 25, 82.50, but you are seeing it break higher. I'm now out of Snapchat. I said it would be a relatively tight stop, but you know what? Just hit the high of the day. And if Meta's making a new high, I'm just going to grab the out. Do not want to throw good money at bad. But yeah, good money at bad there. I need to see Meta weakness off the tops, and then I can jump back into this trade. So still looking to short Intel, still looking to find a pop in that stock so we can get into the other side of it as it continues to fall. And Rivian, we got a good out there because I think the third test of 15 is possibly incoming here. I might take it one more time off 15, but I wouldn't have expected we'd test this 3 times this early.
So we have something similar. We went over and we got Sticky Note Nation, and it's another dollar club. So we wrote down Microsoft. So far, Sticky Note Nation is going to go 2 for 2 today. And that's the only trades we have. We have the Amazon trade that we wind up losing the bottom on. But we wrote down here Microsoft. Again, like every day I do this, and it's fine. We have new viewers, and those of you that are still here know what's good. Here it is. This says Microsoft 406 long. I mean, right here. Where's? Oh, I don't have Tesla's from yesterday. My bad. We're gonna wait to short Apple. We've got Meta long, but we said we couldn't find any levels. Amazon long, which we had. But not at 166. We had at 169 was a winner, and then AMD. But again, some of those levels didn't come through. We wrote that pre-non-farm payrolls, but that doesn't seem to matter. There goes Microsoft right now, $2 almost in the money. So let's go. Buy the best names. What about 409? Let's just put an offer now at 409. I told you we're a changed man a little bit here. As with earnings, I feel like you can open up the playbook just a little bit more to potential expectations of what stocks can do. So what I mean by that is like, here's a good example for Tesla. We let it go. Like our stop is we almost got stopped, 183.50. But like to take this for a 50-cent hit, and then we wind up taking $1.50 on that, and then for some stupid reason spit in the face of this winner up there. That's what I'm talking about. Give it a chance to go, right? If you just punch out of Meta for $1, I mean, that's great, but is that worth it on a day like today? Look at this, man, up 20%. A shout out to Daniel Shea. If you're not on the recap show, again, I'll still keep talking about it because honestly, we've had Chris Bretcher gave a crazy trade for the closing opportunities. And then Danielle yesterday was like, whenever Meta does stuff like this, here's the data. We expecting extension on that play. So this is exactly what just happened, man. Meta upside, congratulations, Daniel Shea and anybody else following that, because that was a hell of a call. And it just continues to moon here, and that is Meta. And wow, I know there's been some traders on our floor that have crushed it. So congratulations to everybody out there. This is what trading's all about. This is why you're here. You're here for this, and hopefully your swing trade accounts are here for this as well. And if not, your longer term ones. I know you obviously would be in Meta, and I'm in Meta, and probably the world is in Meta if you own some.
When we say own
ETF.
When we say own the best stocks, I firmly believe it. The last time I bought Meta wasn't with new money. It was with Pinterest money.
It's with young money.
It was when I decided, oh, let's get out of this Pinterest trade that we made, which was good off of the COVID bottoms because my wife was all over Pinterest. I'm like, let's buy this stock. And then it went ham. Do I want to own it for the long term? Not more than I'd want Meta. So you just dump from one into the better, and Meta continues to go. I think if we get a chance, I think which could happen right now, here is the curl happening. 470 is held support. Look for that as a potential turn zone, but you have a decent idea what I'm probably going to do on this little curl. I'm not done with you yet, and that's Snapchat. Snapchat just topped out one more time as Meta's turning off of this high at 1675. The opening range top, as I'm talking about Snap, and need to hit enter a second time. Thought we'd flipped over. So I'm going to give it to the opening range top. We tightened things up by giving it to this range, and now we're going to go over to 1680. So I'm still looking for the shorts here. Let's jump over to the desk. We got some economic numbers and happening now.
Yeah, these numbers just all flowing in all at once and quite a few to get through. So we're going to start here with the Michigan Consumer Sentiment final coming in 79 versus the consensus of 78.9 and forecast of 78.8. So just slightly higher than expected here, more or less in line. Factory orders ex transportation coming in up 0.4% versus flat or 0% forecast here. Michigan consumer expectations final 77.1 versus the forecast of 75.9, so slightly lower. Michigan current conditions 81.9 versus 83.3, so slightly lower here, and we're just waiting here for that expectations coming in. Has not quite come in yet here. But overall, really nice look here for these numbers overall, a little bit mixed. Michigan inflation's expectation final coming in 2.9%, exactly in line with the forecast here. Lots of numbers, apologies for that there. A nice little, more or less flyer in the SPY, not reacting too much to this. Still up about 0.3% on the day. Did fall back a little bit in the market after we got that higher than expected NFP number, but Meta and Amazon earnings really boosting overall. Other names to talk about here today, including NVIDIA, up over 3.5% here, getting a price target increase from 700 to 800 from BOVESPA Securities. Last but not least here as well, Shopify up 6.5%. Wells Fargo raising its price target from $70 to $90. This also could be a sympathy play with Amazon and Meta and some of those other earnings names in the tech space we had, guys.
Tech space, you say?
Tech?
Never heard
tech?
of it. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Wow, 409 now coming through for Microsoft. This is $2 now in the money, as the one tech name that's not working is the only tech name that I have that's not working probably. And it's good. We're just going to get ready to get stopped out. We've already this won't even blip on the net that we've made on Tesla here if and when we get stopped out soon. We only have like 15% left of this trade. So, yeah, we told you we were trying to hold for the dream. So most of them are out here at VWAP, and then once we break through VWAP, we've got burned too many times by not taking profits. So we took it when it hit VWAP. So if it does come out, it comes out, and there's, sorry, go ahead.
I thought Lucid was the dream.
Yeah, Lucid is a dream unless you're a shareholder. If you're driving the car, I heard it's a dream, but if you're a shareholder, then it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna get you that
For me or for Neil? I don't know.
Ram was mocking me for that one.
Oh, was he?
That's fine.
Was she?
Ram. I was gonna get you the last donut, but now I'm not going to anymore. Lucid's at the low of the day, by the way. I'm not reloading Rivian. I don't think this last time. I think we'll be careful with it. You're getting these EVs at the bottom when the market's trying to go, but we did reload Snap, risking 5 or 6 cents. When it gave 11, we just took it. I'm gonna get VWAP as well if we can catch that. But as fast as that reversal came in, like we got tops and it came right back, you're retesting the highs here. Like Meta's gonna go for that 480, and I think the last ditch effort on Snapchat's gonna come in. You can this is insane. Like the market made another push up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this push up's gonna get me into Intel for sure. Nope, Intel has broken another low of the day. What's crazy about this is Intel is now at the bottom, like it's like a pre-market low after earnings. So there's nothing down here until you get to like 41 bucks. We get to 41, I'm actually gonna be thinking long on Intel and not short. That is not the way I expected things to be going. I thought I'd be sitting in a good short as opposed to, at this point, thinking be patient for the long. But it is what it is. Not gonna complain. SMCI, for anyone looking at the chip name, shout out to everyone in the chat. Luke, I see Faraz as well mentioning SMCI. It is also weak. Not bad. I mean, certainly shorting this one would have been good. Always stick to the plan. Like, I wasn't really looking for this short. I was thinking Intel. There was some news there as well. But SMCI also showing it's not the strongest of chip names.
I mean, how crazy is it that we've had, well, we'll go 3 for 3, but like we had Amazon pretty good here, and then we got out basically at the bottom, and then it just ripped again. Like I saw someone in the chat was like, Amazon's at 171. I was like, what? Like maybe he meant Meta 471, but Amazon, no, man. Amazon continues to make moves higher. All right.
Wow.
So at some point, Meta is going to slow down, right? But do you actually think that you're going to stand in front of this thing? Like now the pullback is coming through. So maybe this is the final straw here. All right, we're long now at 170 on Amazon, as of course it comes crashing in here, and then we just got out. So, okay. I feel like this is where I want to buy it, though. Let me try one more. The futures are coming in. You're not going to get opportunities to buy these good names, you know, too often. So let's just play it off that bottom. Let's just be completely wrong and break that. Or we can hold it for 168. But I don't think, what time is it, 10:05? I don't think that's necessarily necessary for us to hold it all the way through. So let's just play this back. I mean, here comes 169 right now. Let's play it back a little bit here into 169. See if we can hold that. We'll play a little bit lower, but I'd hate to be right on these calls, but then take the positions at the wrong times. And that's what I feel like is happening right now. So we got to let Amazon settle down a little bit. That's a 169er right there. We'll see about breaking that level coming up very, very soon. But that's a position that we're willing to sit in for now. It's Amazon. Let's see if it works. Strong day, but definitely fading here on market weakness.
Yeah, and speaking of fading, I would like for a new entrant to fade, and that's going to be Apple. We finally got into it. If I had blindly gone short, like here, I suppose it would have worked. That'd be really fast. But you're getting a lower high starting to put in at 183 quarters. So
Wow,
it topped 183.75, then you get the slower high. So in the short for the first time, you know I'm going to be looking VWAP here because it's an upward trend. Stock trending up, short double top, try to get it to VWAP. That didn't exactly rhyme. And I didn't get on, I didn't take Rivian a third time.
Oh, here we go.
And it bounced right off $15.
Finally,
I'm going to try and get this one off 15 again. Rivian 15, it just keeps bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
All right, Amazon, me and you good. Me and you good, Amazon. That's a dollar club right there. We just broke this trade down for you. There's a dollar on Amazon broken down. So hopefully this can keep going to the upside right here. We're pretty obviously happy with this move on Amazon. $1. We're $3 in the money on Microsoft, and now we are $1 and change on Amazon, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So there it is, man. It doesn't take a lot of trades, like we keep saying. It just takes good trades. So that was a good one there. We'll put another piece out here at 77 and see what happens with this. But there it goes. Amazon, let's get it. Yeah, did we get that 77? Yes, we did. Nice move back up to the upside. Oh, wow. What are we even doing today? Microsoft, $3 and change off the sticky note right now and starting to still spin higher. Now, I feel like that move down on the NASDAQ was supported by VWAP again, did not break. Now we're just off to the races here. Microsoft is a 1, a 2, a $3 winner. But $3 winners, if they're not for you, then go to Amazon. Amazon right now is a $1 winner right there. Highest spot we've been at today. We're 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, and it's 10:07. So I don't know, man. This is a pretty good pick. And you know what? It's not like we picked this out of thin air. We actually had it right here on today's sticky note. We have the watch list, tradertv.live. Go check that out for sure. But just tell me right here, 406 Microsoft long. You know, Apple will go have a look at the short. We knew Meta was long. My best stock today, net-wise, is Microsoft and Tesla, but Amazon's trying to get there, and then we're going to look for some more AMDs. But there it is right there, man. It's Sticky Note Nation, and I hope you guys checked it today. And if not, that's cool. You know, to each their own. So we're just going to keep on watching to see what happens here with Amazon and Softy.
And obviously Meta too as well. Like everything is flying.
Is about Meta.
You actually mentioned Apple there. I just got into Apple for the first time. looking for the fade, waited for it to make some kind of a top to get in. It's just, it was so strong. It's going sideways, which can be a good thing as the market spiked, but I want this back into VWAP. What's interesting is you were talking about the whole patient thing.
Yes, sir.
I think 6 total stocks is the lowest number by 10 o'clock, or right now it's 10:10, that I can remember. Usually there's been a few more than that. Like maybe I've been in 4 or 5 by this time, or you've been in 4 or 5, but I've only been in 3. And I'm not even, I know I want to get into Intel, it just hasn't happened yet. This is all I can say about Intel. So on a morning where all 3 stocks have been profitable, I'm going to slap a fail, because realistically, when I came in this morning, I actually thought Intel short was going to be the #1 position for me. It really did. It just didn't work out that way. You got to be able to get into the short at some point. And I'll get to nickel in a second. I'm kind of pissed off about that too. But Apple, it can't seem to, like right now you're about 30 cents in the money. I want the first 50, and then I want VWAP. This might only be a $1 trade because of the trend that we have into the upside. Snapchat can be a different story. When it breaks VWAP, I want to hold. If it breaks VWAP, I want to hold some. I'd like to be able to get this 75, pick some up in front of the 40 level, and then try to hold it into the bottom. So both these shorts working. I did not reload Rivian a 3rd time. I tried to grab it in there on the way back up, and I missed it. So 15's been a good level for Rivian. Anyone, if you're wondering like why 15 on Rivian, it should be obvious, but if it's not, look what it did yesterday. And if that's not obvious, look what it did on the 29th, which is Monday. 15, and then it closed all the way at 16. Yesterday was 15 to 15.60. Today, the best print's been about 30, so you've only gotten 2%. But the day is still young if it can hold this 15 forever. And I mentioned that I would go over Nikola. We talked about trends with Michael Noss. Go out to the higher time frame, observe the trend, and recognize that the trend is your friend. And if a stock is trending down, look for setup short. The most obvious setup short is, where were the sellers yesterday? Will they sell there today? Sellers were at 74 yesterday. Try to sell it there today. Easiest 5% you probably will see is that one right there. Nikola, just yesterday's bottom range, 74 to 69, easy peasy.
Yeah, Nikola, some of those penny stocks, or lower value stocks anyways, tend to be fun to trade, needless to say, there. And you can use more shares, which is really nice. I'm with you on that Intel. That's why I asked you about that story, because like, that seemed pretty easy, man. And whenever you're looking back at it, that tends to always be the case, right? It's like, oh man, we knew that, but hard to execute sometimes against all of the ideas. So that's for sure. Okay, Microsoft again, $4, almost $4 in the money. Let's just check back what our Tesla trade is trying to do here quickly. That's still breaking lower. So I just wonder, we say we're going to try to trade the best names and the names that are trading the best. And with an up market and Tesla puking like this is not going to be a long for me. We could possibly find a long here somewhere. And I mean, that's why I go back and I just draw this like 180. 182 possibly, where we are right now could be something. So I don't want to sound the alarms on this trade, but right now Tesla is getting close to a level that, no one's going to blame anybody if you thought a long in and around 182 might work, because we did hold here the last couple days. Not last, it was right here. Nope. Where was it? It must have been, yeah, no, it's 183. Okay, so I don't even think we have dates on this, but whatever date, the 26th of January, right there, there's 182. So the 26th of January, that's how far you got to go back to find that one. But we did hold, and we can wait to see what happens now at 182, if you're willing to dance with the devil that is Tesla. What's up, Adara?
It is bio company actually moving right now. This one, not a small cap, about 47 billion market cap here. EW, this is Edward Life Science, their Evoke valve system getting FDA approval. So nice move up here into that $83 area, up 4.5%, guys.
Good look there. I know there's a couple of other names that probably on others' radars. One of those is Remark. Remark's on the move again. It's not necessarily doing remotely what it did the other day when it got to $1.60, but that is a 50-cent off the bottom and trying to take out this level. It gets to 85 and breaks it, then this can really go ham.
Yes.
I'd love to, look, I'm going to pay for locates on here because that looks like a good opportunity if it fades, but watch out for that 85. If you're long this stock, It's went from 50 cents to just 79 cents right now. You know, if a stock does that and you're long and you end up losing on it, then that's something wrong. Take profits. Make sure you profit from trades like this. I just got picked up on Rivian, so it dipped again into 15. Okay, this is now 4 times that Rivian has dipped into 15. This is I feel like it's gonna break. Like, you're getting lower highs each time. I've only taken 3 out of the 4 where it's gotten underneath 15.05. This time I got filled at 02, so I still have some from 5s, which means my price is 3. But I just took some out of 10, and I'm gonna take more out in front of VWAP. It feels as if the EVs will continue to be under pressure. That 15 goes, it might just be a reversal. Like, I'm looking over, like Tesla just broke its low as well. Like, I saw Lucid was already at the bottom. If the EVs continue to trend down, 15 I don't think will hold all day long. So Apple still pushing the top end of the range. Snapchat was able to break VWAP. It's not really flushing, but at this point, I think as long as Meta doesn't make a new high, this should work overall. And Apple just broke out. There we go. We'll slap the fail on Apple. It'll end up, yeah, this will end up being a flat trade. I just gotten a bounce, and well, okay, it didn't break the high, but it broke where my stop was. So as I was short in the middle of the range. I got the bottom once and then stopped out the top. Apple just hasn't made definitive top. I think you got to be careful shorting this till it really starts to set up. It's on a run. It's down 1.8%, but the trend has been up. So you got to be careful with that. Apparently Rumble's moving. Oh, I missed the Rumble 7 to 750 yesterday.
That should surprise nobody about Rumble. Yeah, it's moving, that's for sure. Okay, so on that Apple breakout, Microsoft kind of hitting these tops again. We're gonna hold, man. We only have 20% left. 4 outs, each equal amounts. First out was, so we went long at 406. Well, what do we have? 406.25. Our first out there is 75. Then we got out at the 200 period at 07-ish. Then we got out at 08. Instead of getting out at 08s, like I'm always getting out a couple pennies less than that, just to make sure that it's not the key level. So it looks like it's 91 or something. And then again, ahead of 409, we got out at 408.85 or something like that. So there it goes. I'm not going to get out at 410. 410 is too key of a number for me to get out at. So we'll see if it breaks that and continues to go higher. We just got a nice little bounce off on Amazon. So again, let's punch lower there. Good, we got that. Let's put another offer somewhere. The short is now in on Apple. Apple just came up to my sticky note level, and we're banking on it. Well, hold on, we're not banking. It didn't fill down there. It just immediately went to 82. There it is. Brendan's back in the building. What's up, Brendo? There it is. It's a nice move down for Apple as we're starting to get extended now. Bang, bang, and bang. That's going to be Travolta's like, where's that sticky note at, baby? There's another short for Apple. We're clear out of a little bit now because this market is screaming higher, and we have a short on Apple. So we'll take a piece out right now against that 184. We actually only have half left. We'll scalp out 20 cents, man, because we're favoring the long. We're four bucks in the money on Microsoft. We're 80 cents in the money on Amazon, and we are just a 22 dimes now in the money on Apple. Get down, Apple. Maybe this can be the one for us here for the short. Hey, we have one short written on here. It's Apple. Apple 1 for 1. Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla. Hey, man, we were like this yesterday. Let's see if we can keep it calm, cool, and collected right now. And just as Neil said, trade the names we want. And one of them is right here, right now, with Apple.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Keep it chill. Ooh. Make sure you stick to your plan. Yeah. Obviously, Rumble did that thing yesterday. I wasn't here when it broke 7 and went 750, but it did reverse it. So if you're looking for a key price level, 750 was a local top. I do think there can be a long here before that because there's a wipeout bottom. You're now holding above, buyers above the 7. On the daily chart, it still looks like the 7 area is where you want to get a bit of accumulation. So VWAP pullbacks, 7 to 710 pullbacks. That's what I'd be looking for on Rumble. I'm going to throw this one up and make sure I have a lock on it. As I keep saying with Rivian, it just gets lower and lower, these bounces. You got 2% on the second move. The third move, it went 1%. Now you can't even go half that to VWAP. This is going to likely break. So if it breaks to the downside, I'm very likely going to try to get something short at like 97 or 98. As I heard Sean already tell you guys, when you're in a long position here, you got to get out and then fire the short. So there's no guarantee you get the break at the low of the day. I'll get out with 1 cent of slippage. No guarantee that I can get that reversal on Rivian. But it might just be, this is the first pop in Intel, and it happened at $41.60. That's like $1.50 from where we would have wanted this one short. We're looking for VWAP here on Intel as the futures are getting right into said top. We'll hang on to Snapchat because as long as Meta's not making a new high, I like the sympathy short. And if Meta starts to roll to VWAP, then this one, that'll hit the low of the day. But if the futures cannot make the press to the high of the day, I want to be short Snap, and I want to be short Intel, and probably nothing else.
Don't make any snap judgments on any of those stocks. All right, so, all right, bless you. All right, so Apple just broke.
Who was that?
That was Ramin, I believe. Apple just broke. Whatever you have that, I do, like that. I mean, there's not too many. You do like a Dara or her maybe, unless that's how Brendan sneezes. Okay, actually.
Ramin.
I have a very important announcement to make. First of all, Neil, yesterday, I'm going to ask you a question because you probably don't know this. Neil, focus over here. Let Ramin do whatever she's doing, okay? I have something important to talk about. Yesterday, we had someone very, very special come back. You don't even know who it was. The greatest trader of all time. Came back in the building and was live on the show. It was Fahad.
What?
Yes, man. He made an appearance.
How are you going to come by when I'm not? The one
That's
day
what he
I'm
said.
not
No.
here.
He said that he specifically, this was a lie. So this is how he rolls. But I'm going to throw you under the bus, but it's not the truth. So I'm not really. He said that he told you he was coming yesterday, and you were dodging him. But that's just how funny he is. And I told him, I told him that was definitely not the case, and that Neil is ready and willing to run against you because that came up again as well. But then
I will race this dude in my. Oh, you can't see.
Neil, but I'll tell you something else before.
In these boots, I'll race that dude anytime, any place.
I know.
Fahad. He's half my age, and I'll still whoop his butt in a race.
Yeah, he's a little bit more than half your age, but the idea with this is that I have to tell you, I said Fahad's been on, he has a workout regime. To me, it looks the same, but okay, it's fine. You know, he was flexing and all that kind of stuff. My thing was, because of what happened at our draft, my money remains on Fahad because of pulled hamstring possibility.
I ain't pulling no hamstrings.
Okay, if you're confident the hamstring is not being pulled.
I work out smarter.
Okay.
When I was younger, I used to have all kinds of hamstring problems. The only issues I have is my back, and as long as I'm not swinging anything, I'm good to go.
Okay, good. So
Fahad to get
so
dealt
you're ready.
with.
You're ready.
He'll get dealt with on the track.
I don't think he's ever gonna race.
We could take it to them streets. We could race in the back alley over here. We actually have a back alley.
I feel like we should do it on proper because
we'll take it to a track.
In the back alley, what's gonna happen is, man, you're gonna step on a rat or something, and you're gonna slip. Or
everybody out there.
There's gonna be a pothole.
Who you guys got? Track speed is different. Just remember that.
Yeah, man. I feel like that would be good. Okay, so first of all, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple right now is tanking. We have this. This is a Sticky Note Nation play, short off 184. I used the word tanking, and I apologize. Apple's not really doing anything, but it is making a move down, and I just took 30 cents on that one. Okay, but yesterday was a wicked day because we had Fahad, but unfortunately today we have a very, very sad announcement to make.
That's true, yeah.
And she's talking with Brendan now. Katrine, get over here. Double camera. Unfortunately, is this mic on? Katrina has an announcement to make.
I'm moving to the States to pursue a singing career.
Congratulations. You can grab her Spotify. We'll be tweeting that all out. But yeah, congratulations on your entertainment career. But no, more seriously.
No, I'm just leaving to go to a new role. But I'll still be in Toronto, so if they will let security let me in, I'll be back.
Thank God
I'll be visiting.
Thank God security is not super tight here. But yeah, we just want to, on behalf of everybody obviously here at Trader TV Live, we want to thank you for all of your efforts. What? You hold this one. I mean, I already have a mic. I want to thank you for all of your efforts to date. And you've mentioned to us, you've grown a lot here, and congratulations on the new role. We like to see Trader TV Live people spread their wings. So congratulations. We'll be sad, but life moves on. And Obi is our new sales guy.
Exactly.
He is
He'll
not,
kill it.
but
He's gonna kill it.
that would
He's
be
got
great,
big
so.
shoes to fill.
He does.
He's not. He's staying on the trading floor. But like Sean said, I don't have anything to add. We're gonna miss you a ton.
I'll miss you
and I
guys
know the
too.
viewers absolutely love you ringing the bell. We'll have to get you to ring the bell.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight.
I'll
to
do it
close.
today.
Okay.
I'll be on the other side now. I'll be in the chat saying hi
Oh,
once
good.
in a while.
There you go.
Okay, good. Promise
I'll be
to do that.
I'll be Ram show the chart user. That'll be me.
Okay, good. And then send us the MP4, or MP3, or stream link to your latest vocal
Of
hit.
course. You
I'll,
guys
I'll,
all
I'll
you guys
drop
will be
some
the first
bars
one to
if
hear.
you're serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Neil
we'll
will drop
collab
some
on
bars.
something. We'll collab.
Boom. All right, thank you, Katrine, for that. And it's a sad, like we just said, man, like it's a sad and a happy day at the same time.
Yeah,
and,
bittersweet.
Bittersweet. That's a good word. So okay, we'll do that. And it's just like people are like, where did Fahad go? Like. It's like he's nowhere, man. The guys are still chilling around. People have, job opportunities. Approach them. And on that note, CNBC and me, no. All right, so we're still here. We're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, but
we've
the
promised
thing about
to go.
CNBC is, you don't want to. You always want your moves to be. You want to make the move up, right?
Right. I'm not. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. They've already contacted, but I'm like, hell no about all of that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. This is a special day, Ramin.
Hey, Ram.
Ramin's like, small cap recap, guys. What the hell are you guys doing?
Okay.
Wow, Ram. Wow. There's.
I mean, you didn't say it exactly, but
animosity.
it was close to that.
Happening all around here. But no, we're playing around. Let's go over to small cap recap before Adair hates us.
No hatred here. The IWM Russell 2000 small cap index. This is the 1 minute chart, seeing a nice bounce here off that 192.40 level. So pretty good look, but we're still very much down on the day here for the IWM. In terms of individual movers, some of these have been mentioned before, including Remark. This one initially got running on Tuesday, as you can see in that big green daily candle there. Microsoft entering into a 5-year cloud services agreement with the company, falling a little bit, but still up about 35% for this one. This is a penny stock. Next up, we do have Intelligent Biosolutions, INBS. Something worth noting here, this one did have a 1-to-12 reverse split last week, so that's something to keep in mind. Float of about 1.45 million shares. And also interesting, running today up over 100% despite actually lowering its Q2 revenue estimates. So interesting look there. And last but not least, Minim still running, still up over 30% here. Same story from Tuesday Wednesday with after market close on Tuesday. David E. Lazar, this investor, disclosing a 51% active state and that he's been elected to the board. So lots of familiar faces on the small cap recap today, guys.
Oh, Nelly, it's Apple time. And there it goes, man. Apple to the downside right there. We were patient. And again, I don't know what I'm going to do with Katrine gone. I don't know how I'm going to get these sticky notes out to you guys anymore because secretly she was writing them for me every single day. No, I will. What was that? Yeah, she's the one secretly trading, so I'm just like morphing into the screen. So this is going to be really bad for us. But, for one last time, let's just do that. Well, we'll probably do it more.
Like and subscribe today.
All day today.
There we go. All day today. Just make sure you do hit the like and subscribe. And then
Record likes today we should get.
Yes, well, we should definitely. But then that kind of is like, yeah, I guess I'll be supporting. Like, I don't want people
supporting
exactly.
supporting Katrine.
That's what it's all about. So, and we're going to try to support the market a little bit here with some bids. All right, so we're long Amazon. That's kind of fading out, but we only have 10% left. We had a great trade there, back up to day's high, day's low to day's high. We're going to ring the register on that one. Microsoft, it was all a dream. This is my #1 stock, but I'm going to hold this to see if it goes back through 10. I do understand this is a problem, but, we went back and we made half on Apple what we made on Microsoft, but we have now double the position on Apple that we have on Microsoft. So if the market continues to fall down, we'll see what happens on VWAP. We will cash out here on Apple, and we will, again, it's kind of like just a hedge. You talked about the Trader TV Live ETF. Well, right now we're double short Apple. Not me, double short Apple that we are Microsoft. So it's kind of like, we'll play that squeeze and see what happens. Amazon still long and absolutely nothing else. I know you were in Rivian. Tesla bounced. So I'm going to probably assume.
It did. But I have to talk about Affirm first.
Yeah, go to something else.
Because Affirm just tagged 40. So, if you see that set up, and if I say I like Affirm at the 40 level short, and you see it wick to 39.99, well, I'm going to be short the next consolidation. And if it breaks a high, I'm going to be out. That's it. It's a pretty simple trade. If it breaks a high and comes right back in, you might see me jump back in underneath the 40 level on a wick top, but that's a setup. Play to first support level, then play to VWAP. Rivian did pretty much what you would expect on the Tesla bounce, which is bounce off 15 again. How many times are going to bounce off the same level? Got to VWAP, take profit to VWAP. You make a decision where you need to, but that Affirm, it could be the shortest offensive or defensive of all time. I guess I'm not really defending that level because I'm shorting in front of it. That's not a defensive level. I need 60s down here, then we can take some out. There was, oh yeah, Peloton. Oh my goodness. Peloton right back to that low, so 450, forget about it. Multiple times we've been down here off these quarters and teens in the last year. Well, it's bouncing off of it again. So Peloton is SSR. The double bottom is $4.16, I want to believe. If it can bounce off that low, I'd look for an out underneath 415. This is like an SSR bounce play. Short sell restricted. Stock is you know what, but just looking for a bounce on Peloton. Thank you guys in the chat for reminding me about Peloton.
I'm going to channel my inner Adara and say that Peloton is gone. Not bad, not bad.
No,
not bad,
that'll work. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong page.
It's
Hang on.
Peloton gone now. Peloton is now Pelagon. Is that
Pelagon,
better?
no, Pelagon's better. Yeah,
Pelagon.
No, yeah, Pelagon, that
Yeah.
gets to the, we'll do that. Pelagon is better.
I don't know. Okay, new position alert, and guess what?
Nice, Adara.
We just put it in right now, and it is going to be Micron, and we have another short. We talked about this again on this morning, and we even put it on sticky note. We want Intel and Micron short side. There it is. We love dimes around here, and this is yet another one. Just scalping it out now, man. Look at that. Short it off the 200. Get it going. Get the hell down right now, Peloton. Let's see what you got in store for yourself. I also, or Peloton, Micron. What? Micron, Peloton, gone, all this kind of stupid stuff. All right, Micron, gone. Amazon, what is happening right now? Okay, quickly canceling everything and figure this out. There goes Amazon back up to the upside, so we do want to cash out something here as it just made a bottom there on Amazon. So we'll take another piece out up here just above 170 for yet again another 70 cents right there on that. Micron trying to go back down again. Man, look, Apple, 184 on the sticky note. I mean, it's hard to see in the top left. But anyways, Apple, sticky note, 184. That's done, right? Done and done. Done and dumber. Microsoft, nice move on Microsoft. We talked about 406. This is already... We're just holding some. We're holding 20% of it, but that was a good trade for me. The other name that we talked about there was Amazon long. We already had that. And the other name is Tesla. And Tesla was a great trade for me, man. In there again. We did not get out. I don't know if this 200 period was obviously there, and I guess we were waiting for that break. So that was a little silly, but needless to say, a good day so
in the
far.
money.
Yeah, that's the problem. I was waiting for that dream. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go 5 for 5, but possibly should have had a little bit more there on Tesla.
When you're in the money on a trade with the early trend on a stock that can go, like it can double up on the day, I believe in holding some for the break. Like sometimes you can get out. I've done them. I do it all the time. But usually, if I get out in front of that key level, it's like that's the plan. But if it's like an all-day holder, then I want to hold something for that break. I want to point out Bitcoin, by the way, at a double top there. I know we're going to have crypto update, but that is at a double top. I know some people were looking at that. The newest position for me, obviously, was this Peloton. It's starting to go. Let me just go back to the 3 minutes, but easier to see. I want to get some out if the quarter breaks, and then I want some out at the 430 level. So I'm looking to take the scalp trade there. If it gets back to 450, I think that's a separate trade. Affirm is still just sort of chilling out here. Kind of tag the 40s again. I'm short here at 82. I want to get some out. That 1-to-1 will be out 60s and then 40s, and then VWAP is down there at 39. So that's the plan of action for me on Affirm. Do not want to deviate from it. I just saw Ibrahim in the chat say easy money buy Meta. Not necessarily wrong. And did we get the super chat?
Right.
Mr. Mercado.
We missed another one.
Jose,
Shoot.
thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. Do everybody a favor. We don't ask for anything, but today, hit that like, hit that subscribe. NRBO, FDOOK, can you check it? Sure. I'm going to pull that one up, and the second we come back from our crypto update, we'll see what's up with NRBO. But let's go to the desk with Adara.
This just coming out actually 10 a.m. today from the Wall Street Journal. The Justice Department is charging 3 people in that FTX hack coinciding with when the exchange melted a couple of years ago now, I guess, more than a year ago. Here, $400 million mystery hack. 3 people have been charged. So quick little update from the court side of crypto here. In terms of Bitcoin itself, pretty much flat around that 4,300 area. Couple wicks up and down, but more or less just holding on to that 4,300 or 43,000, sorry, pretty well here for Bitcoin. Slightly positive on the day. Ethereum also holding on to that 2,300 level really nicely. And some other crypto exchanges pretty positive, or sorry, not crypto exchanges, cryptocurrencies. Solana up about 3.5%, Cardano up about 3.5%, Avalanche up 7.5%, guys.
And that's nice. You guys know, oh, by the way, we have crypto now, by the way. BTC, yes, sir. I added entitlements to Neil and myself, and here it is.
Working?
So we have crypto right now live on the platform. What's my maximum buying power? Let's just go absolutely insane immediately. Max buying everything on this. No, we will not be doing that at all. But here's the chart right now. I have no idea what this looks like. In fact, it actually looks broken to me right now because it's not moving at all. But shout out to getting crypto up on the platform, but I'm not really seeing, oh no, here it goes, starting to move. So maybe we just have to have it loaded up a little bit here. The only thing that we're able to execute on, I thought, I'm going to reread the release notes. I think you got them too. If you didn't, I'll have to forward them to you, was the Binance exchange. But you can see we have Kraken here. We have BSTP. Like, I don't know if we have Coinbase, but anyways, this is the first iteration built by traders for traders, by the way. And that's why you may see a little bit of like, what is it looking like right here? We're the only ones to have this right now at Day Trade the World. And it doesn't look like anything right now, but this is what it is. We will continue to monitor said crypto and do that as well. But yeah, that's a good call right there. We do have a new rebrand today. Thank you for reminding me. My guy over there.
Keeping it real.
We are keeping it real trading. That's for sure. I just got to go find the website here. Is this what it is? No, there are a lot of websites out here. I'm gonna have to, it's Real Prop Trading. So hold on, I'm just gonna go find that. Real Prop Trading, and then we'll get that for you in just 1 second.
Yeah, I actually just made sure I put that one up. Because now I can actually I don't have to track on Binance or, well, I was using before TradingView, but I can just have it up there. The level 2 quote's interesting. We'll have to decipher sort of where you can execute and where you can't.
In the cipher.
For test in the cipher. I did jump out of a firm. I said what the plan of action was going to be. So you know me, my stop will be pretty much as tight as you would expect at that 40 level. I got out 02s, so pretty decent fill there. Actually, no, check that. I got 3s, maybe even 2.5. But we'll take the first hit there. Obviously, it would have been a good trade at that 39, 40 area. Didn't put it on, waited for it to get to 40. If we get back underneath and the market's still weak, I'd probably jump back into that one. Oh yeah, Snapchat. Just an update on Snapchat. Anytime I see this, it cracks under VWAP, holds the same low at 1650, take some more out there. It's showing me a bottom at 1650. If it breaks this, I think we can then hunt for the low of the day. I would like to reload this where it's now a triple top in front of 16.8. So Snapchat has worked once, not the second time, but then the third time working rather nicely. Oh, Intel just came in. So Intel, where are you, Intel? All right, Intel's at VWAP. It took a while, but Intel finally popped a VWAP to get me into this sucker. Pre-market low sits at 42.40. This is down 2.8%. The Ohio factory is being delayed. That was the news. And everything else is up, and Intel was weak. So short the pop was the game plan here for Intel. As mentioned, I am in that Peloton long. You guys will see there on the position board, looking for this to bounce off of this double bottom. It's also a bottom on the daily. It's working, but only a few cents in the money. I wanted to get to 2-to-1 risk to reward, and then we can take some out.
All right, here it is right here, just as we said, realtrading.com, right? So there it is right here, Real Trading. Go check it out on the website right now. Rebrand. So if you're interested in joining us here, it's no longer Day Trade the World, realtrading.com. This is how many shares we do a day as a group. We have over 3,000 traders, 50 plus markets, $3 billion worth of trades passing through our platform. That's why the other day when we had to have that execution stop to fix a bug, it was more important that we halt trading and get that out there, because there's so many traders on this platform that rely on stability, so on and so forth. And I rely on Micron. Yesterday, Micron was a fantastic trade. And today, it is now moving up the board again here. Despite it not being a complete monster, we've taken the right prices at the right levels. We took it at the 200 period, clocked it down here, got a 42 fill. So that's a 62 to 42. Then it ripped up to VWAP. We sat there and said, thank you again. So that's short at 80, out at 62s again, out in the mid 60s. So this has been a really profitable day to short key levels there on Micron. Will we blow up? Maybe we do, and we take this 86. We'll give 20 cents back. But as we said, I feel like it is worth a shot. All right, just quickly here. Apple. All right, so Apple moves down. You know, we were doing a bunch of different things there. We should have been paying more attention to it, but it just hit. And again, you know, trading's going to be, some trading's hindsight, you know, 2020, shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. All right, like that down to the 50 period. Look at all of my trades. That should have been an out. But we are only in 20%, less than 20%, about 15% of the initial trade. We're looking to get more short. Look at this. 50 period right here is 185. If we break 185, then we're gone. We're up on Apple, even holding this right now, we're still up on Apple. We're gonna look to get a little bit more ahead of 185. And it's gonna probably be in the mid 60s. So let's wait for that. We'll try it out. If it hits, it hits. Not, this is the patience I'm talking about before. Not getting in now. I'm gonna wait right now to see what happens with Apple. We gotta get short, but not until we get into the 60s, which is coming up right now.
Yes, sir. Oh, it's 10:40. I know we're going to go in just a quick second. I took first fill on Peloton. If it gets to VWAP, we'll take another leg out there in front of that. As this continues its, bounce off of abject disaster yesterday. But the bottom end of the range, like this is what we're looking for. That's about 416. The top end here was 440 yesterday, slightly better than that earlier. So that's what I'm looking to capture. You get to VWAP, hold the rest for that 440. You risk 5 to 6 cents. If you get 20, it should be good. But remember, Peloton, that was a dumpster fire yesterday. This is more like a relief bounce play. As we go to the screen, we've got Sector Watch. I know Oxy bounced, but what else did?
Yeah, definitely that positive move on the SPY today is being buoyed by some of these earnings names, because we're not seeing a lot of that when you look at this sector board here. Consumer non-durables very much down. Energy and minerals, as Neil was just mentioning, on watch here. Both XOM and CVX reporting earnings this morning, so CVX getting a nice boost up on that. Consumer services also down. Keep an eye on McDonald's ahead of its earnings report before the open on Monday. Utilities down across the board. Consumer durables, transportation with the exception of Uber to the downside. So pretty bleak look for a lot of these names. But health technology a bit mixed, led to the upside by Eli Lilly and AbbVie, which reported earnings this morning. Finance, BRAKB giving a nice push to the upside for this sector. And then, of course, we do have electronic technology and tech services. Electronic technology, an interesting look here. Bit of a mixed performance from these chip names. Intel way down, AMD, NVDA, and Broadcom way up here, guys.
We are, so we got that.
Broadcom, baby.
Yeah, Broadcom's a monster as well. Micron continues, so we're in Apple right now. We're gonna let it cook a little bit. We're short at 184.56. It's 24 cents out. I just want to talk about this. Micron broke a little bit. We got out of half of the position that we had left. Because, you know, the short, honestly, like, we'll take it. We're going to get out if it breaks, and we don't have very many shares left. I'm more just concerned about what we're trying to do with Apple right now. So Apple looks like it, not looks like it, it definitely wants to take this 185. And I don't want to stop out at 185, but you know, I feel like you got to have a stop somewhere on this name. And honestly, I'll be happy with that if that's where we go on it. I wouldn't be happy because we'll take a 50-cent hit, but you know, it's a monster move back. Like that 170, that 180 level. I mean, look at that hold. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous here. Like I don't. It could just continue to go because the bulls are going to celebrate this today. You know, Apple opened up down, and they should. Apple opened up down 3.5%, 4%. You know, I didn't hear too many people screaming buy the dips, man. Everybody was waiting for 170 and change.
180 to break.
You know, it did break 180, but it
barely.
Yeah, barely. It went down to 179. But anyways, needless to say, this is definitely celebratory for the bulls today. I mean, the NASDAQ's up 1.2%, you know? So that's just continued to be a monster there today. It looks like Apple, here it goes. We're just going to stop out and unfortunately be red then on Apple, but that is what it is. I mean, I took the shot, and I'm fine with doing that. Meta, though, why not? I'm waiting for VWAP, but it only dipped into the 50-period moving average.
It's like,
so not much to say about that one. I just got more worried about Apple, but that's a crazy one there.
The thing is, like, there's like ways that you have like setups for trades, right? So for a trend trade up, I look for specific setups for dip buying, and Meta is so strong it's not giving them, and that just means you miss out on it. What's not as strong, and like, Google's moving as well, but Amazon is holding 169, but not nearly as strong. The overall market, the NASDAQ's trying to take the top, and you're not taking highs on Amazon. So just note the relative weakness. If this doesn't hold on to 169 and the market does reverse, this should be slim, easy pickings because you can see the weakness. Like even Google is breaking out. So Google looking strong now above this 139. If we hold the highs, 139 Google, 140 are both coming into play. Intel hasn't stopped out yet, but the quarters are being challenged. I'm trying to risk about 10 cents on that one. A couple extra pennies depending on slippage. Oh, yeah. Snapchat. That's the other thing we're short. So with Meta making a fresh high, we get up to this top again on if we get to this top again on Snapchat, I still like it, but it's really going to depend on how ridiculously strong Meta is at that point. If Meta's screaming when Snapchat gets to the high, then I probably back away from taking this again. But Snapchat is my sympathy play short.
I mean, the S&P futures right now are looking to break through 5,000. I mean, we're not quite. Yeah, we're not quite there. We're at 49.60 right now, but you are getting closer and closer. And we've taken some pressure off of this Apple trade, guys. We just got we got a couple fills on there at 84, 184, 182 or something like that to get our price back in. Our average price was 79 on that. You guys didn't see that last fill that we got, but it was right here at 185. So we got a 180, we got 96. I mean, we talked about going short. All right, I have to attend. We have a lot of shares. We have to attend. We have a lot of shares. All right, here comes Apple right now. That's, wow, okay. Again, like, wow. If this falls down now and I just scalped out because I'm a P&L chaser, that's bad. All right, but honestly, that hit 185 over and over and over again before finally breaking lower. We just, wow, that was good. Okay, so now I'm happy to get out of that. We're out of more than half of that down in. My best fill down there, well, I don't think it was 60s. Yeah, we got a 65 down there on Apple. 75, 70s, 65s. So, yeah, that was a couple good takes on the downside there. Now I think Apple breaks. I mean, so many times we've come, you can watch it here with me if you want. So many times we were hitting 185 and not breaking. We put on the short, but probably about the third time. Watch, okay, see? It goes up to, last time 185 was here and it was just spitting. Like so many dark pool offers. Let's see if we can see it again. Now, all those ones are flying around, which kind of, okay, now it broke. So that time, I told you, next time probably breaks. That's fine, man. We will get out of that. We'll slap a fail on the idea of the short because it didn't work. But on the execution, we will stamp a good idea getting out of that one as, yeah, the short there, definitely not right on Apple as it continues to blast higher. I mean, wow, I'm going to assume this is Meta, right? Like Meta just carrying the day.
Meta's going Google.
We're $3 in the money on Microsoft still. We're 50 cents in the money on Amazon. And then Micron is getting near the top right now of 186 where we got to step out of this. So Micron continues to make not new highs, but taking out these levels that we were slightly worried about. Micron's still a positive stock. We did pretty good at getting out of that one as well.
Yeah, for me, I just
Why
jumped
go
out.
short?
You're seeing
Ugh.
things start to accelerate to the upside, so I'm not going to want to turn this into a mess. Shorted VWAP, made the local high, tighten the stop up because you're against the grain, and then just get out on that stop. Got partial on first fill, just punched the next penny to make sure I got all of it out. Piton's still okay. Rivian, though, Rivian is starting to look a little bit more interesting. Like, forget about 15 now. Now you're holding VWAP, and that open range top, that 1535, you could break that sucker out, and then you've got 15 to 1535, and then you got 1535 to 1570. I like symmetry like that. So if it does break that 35, I'd look for this to get at least 25 to 30 cents higher. First test will be, can we bounce off VWAP? If we bounce off VWAP, I'm going to look for that long on Rivian. Snapchat, I don't want to reload that one. Not yet. And by the way, Google, it's right at that 140. You can forget about VWAP at this point. Looks like Alphabet wants the 140 break any second now. We have about 10 minutes to go till we get to the midday. It's been an absolutely wild morning. Congrats if you had, the EV names you had to have early. You had to have Tesla and Rivian off that absolute early bottom, but they've been given to you over and over again. And congratulations to anyone that's long Meta. 21% to the upside. If you're not enjoying that, because everyone has that in their account somehow, make sure you do this.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
To the moon.
Yeah, Kat.
infinity and
This will
beyond.
be Kat's last day, so we'll have her back on in the after show and everything like that in the afternoon show. Okay, so 175. We broke this down, guys. We broke this down for you earlier. 17.5 hold back to 17.7. That's 200 points on the NASDAQ, and it's doing it. So I'm getting ready to short against that 17.7, but we're not quite there yet. So let's wait to see if we can hit that. And what does that look like? Maybe on the Qs. I'll trade the Qs instead of the futures. Like I've said, I've already gone on a rant about futures before. All right, so here it is, that very top. We're not there. That's 430. We'd have to get there first, right? So where's the NASDAQ? Let me see the triple Qs right here. So maybe it's this level that we're thinking is the breaking spot. Let's go. I just wanted this to settle down for a couple days. So there it is. Okay, so yeah, so it still is that 430 level. So that's probably where we're gonna go. Let's sit there and see if we can get a short in and around that area if we're lucky enough to do that. But that could be it right there. In and around 430 on the Qs. We're gonna have to get out of here soon and throw over, but yeah, that's a level for sure, for me anyways, that we're looking at. Part of me wants to get right back into Apple here because you're not really doing too much of a dance up here right now. But yeah, Apple's a little bit of a tricky spot here for sure because I am biased the other way. So, all right, we'll continue to watch it. Hopefully we'll be able to find something on these trades. It's Adara, it's Money Talks.
Giant push up here for the DXY. Pretty much moving out of that range I was talking about yesterday, that mid-January to, I guess, as of yesterday, that range of that 103 to just shy of 104 area. We were quickly pushing towards that 104. Big bounce up on these non-farm payroll numbers. Lots of economic data to review quickly, but this NFP coming in much higher than expected. 353,000 versus the expected 187,000. We also had an upward revision of the previous non-farm payroll. USA unemployment rate coming in slightly lower than expected, 3.7 versus 3.8. USA factory orders also slightly lower than expected, 0.2 versus 0.3 expected. And last but not least, the Michigan consumer sentiment coming in at 79 versus the estimate of 78.8. So just a little bit higher than that estimate there. Also on Monday, stay posted at 10 a.m. We're getting that ISM services PMI, which could have an impact on the USD. But overall, not much to say beyond big, strong move up here on those NFP numbers, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like Meta is so impressive. It's so impressive looking at Meta. I was just asking the chat, how much room are you giving in Snapchat past that 80 level? Well, the answer was not enough because it broke 80 first of all, it barely broke 80. I was watching, my stop hit, and then it was like I got out and nobody else did. So it did print 81s, I know, because I hit 81s automatically. I just jumped right back in. I'm going to give it a little bit more room up there. Meta's not breaking the high. It's that time of day where a 1 cent stop on the stock maybe doesn't make sense. It was right to get out 50s. Maybe it was not right to get out that last with that type of stop. So I just jumped right back in for what we had, and I'll give it an extra 5 pennies. Intel got to the next level up as the futures were still challenging the highs. So that was this level, pre-market low, resistance 42.40. So I jumped back into the short. So get out from this level, take the stop, save 10 cents, and then get back in at that level. Is what it is. We'll see how far it can go. Peloton, which is Peloton, by the way, just came back in to tag the teens again. So same idea, long off yesterday's lows. Let's see if this can actually get to VWAP this time. Just gonna rinse and repeat it. It's not down that much today, but most of the damage was clearly yesterday. If you're just tuning in, you didn't see what happened to Peloton. They guided poorly, and this is what happens to a company like Peloton when they do. Just looking for the SSR bounce. It's short sell restricted because yesterday it was down more than 10%. That continues to today. I'd love to get VWAP and hold some for the dream. That would be the 450 level. So far, so good there. And now Intel tries to go. Once it's broken VWAP, I'm going to start taking this out. If the market gets anywhere near its lows, Intel should get to its lows. This is a relatively weak name. 2.5% down on a day where everybody's up. Almost. Okay, fine, not everybody. Obviously, Apple's not up.
I don't know, man. There's pretty.
Google's not up yet, but you know what I mean when I say everybody else is up.
You know what?
Just have a look at a chart of like NVDA or something.
Yeah, I mean that.
650.
138 on Google was so good. Okay, we're still holding on to this. You know, Apple went for a run. Apple's at 185.40 right now and still going, right? So Microsoft's not really following it. I guess people are just hitting Apple right now. I feel like Microsoft will follow suit eventually. We still have that 406. It's still 250, but, you know, waiting for more. The stock that's really gone now for us, and it's going to be, you know, obviously a pretty decent trade. We're now at $1.30 in the money on Amazon. I'm still waiting for this top break. You know, like Amazon's, I mean, look at this, you know, big candle to the upside there, breaking through that 52-week high and creating new highs as we speak. So, yeah, to not like this stock, I think is wrong. So we're going to continue to hold it. Let's see a break. I mean, that'll be $2 if we can get that, which would be crazy, but we'll see if we can. 171, I mean, it's not crazy, just like the fact that we hit this bottom at 169 and just held it so well. Let's see if we can get back through the day's high. So I think this one's worth holding. I think they're all worth holding. I was just wondering about Tesla down here because we already broke down this 182 trade. The problem is I broke it down the first time. We went back up to 184. Now you're kind of testing and holding lower. So if you don't have too much faith in the futures right now, then this is a problem for Tesla. So future's still holding out high. We talked about possibly the NASDAQ. This is the ES, sorry. The NASDAQ getting to that 17.7, which is 50 more handles. So if that happens, great. But if we fail off this and come back in. But you know what? I don't think we're going to come back in because Apple right now is leading everything. Like this is marching higher. The short was good. And then we got out like really happy with the executions there. We talked about that. There goes Apple up through 185 and just continuing to climb. It's like that was a bad report, I guess, right? And now it's going to turn green. So again, the report was fantastic. It was the China.
It was just the reaction to the report.
So yeah, and the reaction to the report is freaking amazing right now.
Yeah,
like,
they beat
people sold in the pre-market. That's it.
They beat. It was only the China thing was the only thing you could point to.
The market opened up and there was no sell. There's like no sell all day.
It's been trend up on that stock. And you can even say the same thing. Well, there's a couple names you could say the same thing about, but one of them you can't necessarily there was a sell on Alphabet at the open.
Disney.
They're just not really selling it after that. So you're getting stair step to the upside. It still hasn't broken this 140 level though. You've got a bit of a wall there at 140 on Google, and that was that post-earnings bottom. If it cannot get through the post-earnings bottom, should be shorting this. I'm in Intel, I'm in Snapchat as mentioned, but I was sitting there waiting for the break. How many times have I sat and waited for a breakout at a key level instead of playing it in the other direction? So I'm gonna jump over to this name. Like I just got into Intel, greed, could have taken 10 cents there when risking about that much, didn't do it, should have done it. But you know, you can't change that after the fact. Intel continues to go higher. So I'll get out of Intel. slap the L on that one. Probably should be in that Google off the 140 level. I am into Rum. Someone was asking about Rumble at 7. I was actually at 02s looking for the dip into VWAP in there. And when someone mentioned in the chat that it was looking like an entry, I'm like, okay, if it's bouncing off of 6s and I was waiting for 2s off of 7, why not just take 7s in here and just work into this one? We're looking for the dip buy in Rumble to recreate the move back into the high of the day. So there we go. That's a new position alert. I know sometimes we'll not talk about these over and over again, but once this took out that top, we're saying, hey, look for the lower high to start setting up. Boom, lower high of VWAP, look for the lower high setup. That's the kind of setup I like, right? Like you take a patented setup, stock is up, trending up, buy the dip at a price that you like. So that's what we're doing over here in Rumble. Oh yeah, Peloton, that last bounce off of yesterday's lows, worked right back into the quarters, so we'll ring the register on that. Still looking for VWAP there. We got to be patient. When this made a bottom, like it gave you yesterday 415 to 440, but it took an hour to do it. But you know what? It never actually broke the low. So if it's going to do the same thing, just patiently wait for it to rise. I'm willing to take that pattern every single time as long as it's going to do it for me. But as I mentioned, it's got to be Google in this 140. That's the most interesting level I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I went over there when you mentioned stocks that were up or down on the day. Google's an interesting name for me. We do have a new position alert right now. I'm just going to play it off this high for Disney. So it's a nice move up. We're short right now at 57s. Looking to get a little bit more here in the 70s. If it takes this high, we're going to get out, and we're pretty comfortable with that. So again, now we're short 60. It's 10 cents out. The market's obviously going for a jog here. Disney just making a move right back up. So if we do get a fall in here again, then that's pretty good. We started the trade obviously too early, but you could see where my average price is at 60 right now. So that's not bad. I feel like we've done an okay job. Obviously, we would have preferred that to be at 66 or 67 right now. But without that crystal ball knowing that this is going to make the move up, then we'll have to wait on it. So this is going to be a new position. Amazon's at $1.30, Microsoft's at $2, and then here we come right. See? Honestly, Disney, come on, man. Too bad that's happening like this, because we should have a better price short. So, all right. Oh, and by the way, Micron, like we got stopped out there at 86, and then look, oh my God, completely fell down again there. So we're still happy with Micron, but that is
you're not going to believe
such is life.
I have the same thing on Intel.
No, but Micron actually fell down like pretty good, right back into its levels
It's
again.
like every time you get out.
Fell down more aggressively than I thought.
So one of the things, if you find yourself and you make top wicks and you get that top wick stop out, try to remember one thing about that. In your journey as a trader, if your out is the exact turn, there's something about your processes was dead right. So yes, you got stopped out. It just means you had the right decision point, but maybe you need to make a different decision, which can be one of two things. It can be give it a little bit more room there, or wait to get all in till it does a false break. So you could, like in this case, instead of getting in twice on that red candle, I can get in half here instead of getting in half in their weakness. I can wait for this, give it more room up, wait for that false break, and then add there instead of there. And then this way, you're risking the same amount if it just breaks higher because you got half for twice the amount of room, or you're doubling in when it's given that false break and everyone else is trapped and not you. So hopefully that makes some sense.
Finally, by the way.
But by the way, the only thing before we get in there, Rumble bouncing off that VWAP. Only want a couple of outs there. So the VWAP bounce on Rumble starting to work is this name is trying to give ye old. I can't really say Kincaid Spike because we're out of the playoffs. I don't know. I don't even know who I really want to win here. I'll just say Kelsey because I'm supposed to be going KC and you're supposed to be going San Fran. We don't really have a bet.
It's hard for you to bet a team that always beats the other team.
Obviously KC has beaten up on my Bills recently, but I'll take them.
I do find it hard to bet against Patty Mahomes.
Just for sake of us having something.
Yeah, we are going to do that.
But it's just, you can update. Because
I just want to say, I'm starting to get more out here on Disney because honestly, this just turned good for us, or for me, downside there. So again, not the greatest price, but it faded out a little bit. We're out of 30% of it down here. So let's see if we hold the 50 and then lower. So we're trying to stay into this one. But yeah, good show, obviously. Sad to make the announcement about Cat, but happy to make the announcement that we do have the midday show ready to rock and roll for you right now. So let's throw it over to Adara and Sharif. Very interesting topic. You know, get your learn on right now. Ciao.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. Adara is just fixing herself up there. That is Adara on my left. If we can get her, possibly. No? Okay. Well, I'm Sharif.
I am the rum chart. No, hi.
And as per usual, Adara, we're going to wait for everyone to head on over from the other stream. We already have 420 Bud Monster. Mad love, he says. Shout out to you, my fan. Stefan Insights is there as well. We got the Crazy Stitch Lady. And for some reason, people are taking a longer time to migrate on over. So we'll wait for them to come in. It hasn't switched over yet, says Bears versus Bulls. Okay. Well, hopefully maybe they'll follow suit. There we go. We got Sailor Moon in the house. We're still waiting. We got Eagle Talon. That was one of my favorite cars, made on the Mitsubishi the Eclipse.